I see you at the liquor store, leaving with the cheapest can of beer on the shelf. You ain't living on the street, but you barely making rent, and I relate because I'm struggling myself. I see you smile at the clerk while you fumble through your purse. I just wish I had a little more to help. I imagine where you're living, how you feeling, what you love, and who you'll be if you can make it out your hell. I see you at the bus stop, looking at the sidewalk, smoking half a cigarette, waiting for a ride. Kinda limp when you walk and look away. When you talk, you're ashamed, I can see it in your eyes. Probably got a NASCAR shirt and a car that you love, but you're here cause you're too afraid to drive. It's been almost 10 years since the day that you crashed. Can't forget about the little boy's life. Everybody's got a story. If you look a little closer, you can see it in the wrinkles in their face. They can hide it in the silence, they can bury it and fight it, but it comes out when the hair is turning gray. You can feel it if you touch them, you can tell that they are troubled. You can hear the story running through their veins. We all travel different roads and we put on different clothes. Underneath it all, we're really all the same. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. I see you sitting on the front porch playing with a radio, looking to the sky. Probably living in that house all alone these days, trying to find a better way to pass time. Got a wheelchair ramp leading up to the door, I can see that you walk just fine. Probably hate it cause it isn't getting used anymore, and you only ever build it for your wife. Everywhere that I walk, see you on the sidewalk, begging for a little loose change for some dope. Probably got a mama and a papa spending everything they make, trying to clean you up enough to take you home. Used to have a good job, used to get good grades, used to have big dreams, then he lost hope. When your girlfriend died giving birth to your son, you're the father that'll probably never know. Everybody has a tale that they're too afraid to tell. You can see it in the cracks in their hands. They can cover it with smiles. If you walk a couple miles in their shoes, then you'll know where they stand. Everyone who really lived had to climb out of a ditch they were in before they found the right path. If you want to know the truth about what we've been going through, then try to put your phone away so you can ask. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We are the neighbors that you'll never meet. We are the strangers walking down your street. We are a million faces in the crowd. We are the ones the system's tearing down. We are the people working to survive. We are more than just our 9 to 5s. We are the shopping malls and streetcars. We are one, it's time to tell them just who we are. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones.
All right, what the fuck is going on, everybody? Oh, my son, my second oldest, has to wear St. Joe's uniform. That's the school name, St. Joe's, St. Joseph, one of the saints that used to be a pagan deity. But anyways, he has to wear a specific uniform to school, and he decided to, or maybe he just didn't do it on purpose, but had a different pair of shorts on. Tried to get away with it, didn't work. So I have to now go to his school and bring him some shorts, which is fine because I didn't record anything all weekend. I think last time I recorded something was either on Friday or Thursday. I believe it was Friday. So 2 days off, and now I'm back at the Monday grind. This is me going to work, you know, recording a video. It's pretty sick, I gotta say. I'm living the life. Whenever you can just record videos and speak about whether it's philosophical, spiritual, truth, whatever. If that's what you're doing for a living, and you get to stay home, get paid, and maintain your mortgage and your car payments, it's pretty sick. So I wasn't sure what to talk about, hence why I haven't, for the last 2 days, spoke about anything. I didn't know if I wanted to continue speaking about affirmations. I wanted to actually finally put out my love spell, whatever. I also had the idea of specifically saying how I specifically do specific rituals for money, and then from there alter that to tell you how to do the love spells. And if your goal was not money and it was a mate, someone to share your life with, or whatever the case is, well, I would just switch over my statement of intent, because the ways of doing that will be the same. Obviously, that can vary as well. If you're doing love spells, you might want to use different means. Obviously, different color candles if you do candle magic, things like that. But the technique, for me anyways, I would be the same. I do all my shit the same. Being someone who's bought in programs from Frater Xavier, he's the only spiritual guru I've ever bought programs from. And I only did it recently, and I've had success with manifesting before I bought his program. But I was somebody who, like most people, watched his mystery school probably, and never bought his programs, and decided to try to figure out how to do his magic without buying the programs. In that same regard, in that same line of thinking, when I started watching his stuff, I knew I wanted to do magic. And then I saw one video I really like is him arguing with a guy, Michael from Christian MGTOW, or whatever the fuck it's called. Because he's trying to say occult magic that Frater Xavier is doing is evil and of the devil, and releasing demons into your mind through sigil work and Kabbalah. And the Tree of Life is this demonic fucking book, and all this other crap. One of my favorite videos by him. But there's one video, it's a regular video, but it's a regular video, but it's not a mailbag video. But he says right at the beginning, this is a mailbag, but I'm not going to call it a mailbag, because when I do, no one watches it. And I'm going to play this video for you, because among many things, it answers the questions that maybe Thunder Wizard should have had when the day I talked to Thunder Wizard. We had that back and forth, and instead of trying to actually answer my question, he decided to paint the picture that a junkie who needs to go back to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting because I am having trouble with thoughts, which I never said once in there. The only thing I asked him was simply, do you think it's helpful to add positive affirmations to your ongoing actions that you're taking in coordination? And he flips that, because I'm the one who used drugs as an example to specify what we're talking about. I said, well, for example, use it then, say that I'm strong and I can't use drugs. And then he ends up saying something to the effect of, well, in the 12-step program, you have to admit that you aren't strong, that you have no power. And then not long after that, he says, and if you've been 7 years clean and you're still having thoughts of using, he's like, what the fuck? So I'm not strong enough to repel drugs, but I'm also supposed to be strong enough to not have thoughts about drugs, apparently, according to his logic, which isn't very logical. It's like both extremes. It's like either you're not strong, but in the same sense of you not being strong, you also won't have the temptation of doing drugs. And it's like, well, no, that's not how it works. Not for me. If either I'm strong and then I don't have the temptation, or either I'm not strong and I have the temptation. It's one or the other. And maybe it's because I never finished the 12 steps, like I've openly admitted and told everybody that he was right. I didn't finish the 12-step program. It's not offered in my town anymore. There's a cocaine specific meeting that is running here in town, but not for drugs in general. But besides that meeting, that's the only one that's actually available in my town right now. So I can't if I wanted to, unless I decide to drive to, which I probably could, but I know with COVID and stuff like that, going to Ottawa and back, where there's way more cases, who knows? I'm not saying it's real, I'm just saying what I could use as an excuse to not do it. And once again, I don't want to turn that into excuses. And Thunder Wizard talks a whole lot about projecting feelings onto people, projecting when people answer a question, you'll say you're projecting that onto me, or you want me to co-sign your belief systems or whatever shit like that. And he's not wrong about that, and it tends to happen in reverse. Thunder Wizard tends to do that to other people, and I'll explain that a little bit further. Yeah, so for example, at one point in the conversation with Thunder Wizard, I asked him if he was an addict, and he said, well, see, you're proving to me again that you don't know the 12 steps. Once again, I admitted to that. I don't. I didn't finish the program. I know all the 12 steps, so I can tell you all the 12 steps, but I didn't live them, is what I'm saying. But, so I wouldn't answer that, even if I wanted to. Point is, if Thunder Wizard used to be either addicted to, and I would say alcohol would be the most likely thing I would think he was addicted to, but I could be inaccurate, but that's what I would go. But I know he talks about his brother being addicted to drugs and shit like that, so it's more likely that Thunder Wizard wasn't an addict, addicted to anything. But once again, I don't fucking know. Could be alcohol, would be my guess, or it would be the experience he has with this is through his family, his brother. One of the reasons why he really comes down hard on anybody who talks about using drugs, period, could be the fact that he knows, saw what his brother happened to his brother, maybe parents as well, who knows, but his brother being addicted to stuff and throwing away his life, and the reason why he hates drugs so much and stuff like that, that programs a person, right? So more likely it's either he was addicted to alcohol, which I don't see, but I don't know, I can't know. But I also, I believe that maybe he dealt with his brother, trying to get his brother help, trying to get his brother in front of a meeting. Who knows? The way he talks, it almost seems like he has first-hand knowledge, so as well. So, once again, I don't fucking know. Couldn't tell you. But what I do know is he's projecting what he knows about that. Either if it's his brother being addicted to drugs, or himself being addicted to alcohol, or maybe a mix between the two of them. He's projecting those feelings and his experiences onto me, and using it instead of answering the question about positive affirmations, along with what your will was. Instead of answering my question saying you could, I mean, in some respects, he may have, because at one point he said he kind of understood using it with, I forget how it worked out, but he just kept going on and on and on. And he said I kept pushing it. I wasn't pushing it. I was trying to agree to him, and I was trying to be nice and say, you know what, you're right. I was, because I said I was one of those people. He was talking about people that alcohol triggers their mind in a specific way that's like an opiate, and I am one of those people, or I believe I am anyways. I never had my mind split open, my brain split open to look at it to see if I am, but there's a good chance I am. Same with my father. But point is, he projected what's going on in his life, and if he was doing what I did instead of fucking trying to use positive affirmations along with supporting magic to keep myself from doing drugs, which has been working pretty damn good, if I might say so myself, instead of saying it's possible or whatever, he maybe didn't have any experience with that, so he couldn't. So once again, I'm not dissing, but in this one video called "Don't Judge Lest You'll Be Judged" or something to that effect, I forget the actual, whether it's Old English or just whatever, Latin changed into English, and then we have a hard time spelling it right, and it just sounds like fucking Shakespearean shit. Don't judge lest you be judged, I think is the name of the video. He answers all those questions and more. More than that, he talks about what happens when you judge, but he also talks about positive affirmations. He talks about magic. He explains things so well. And it's cool because I didn't even have to, question that I didn't get answer from Thunder Wizard. Instead of having to actually go ask Frater, I just had to go through his videos. Which one do I want to listen to today? I saw that title and something told me to watch it, and then I watched it and it was like, boom. But even when I first started the Mystery School series, it wasn't until after this video that I decided to start magic. And I'll get into more why that is and more in depth. But the short answer for that, which I'm making short answers, I'm very shitty at doing short answers or short questions. That's the whole Mercury and maybe Pisces, but mostly Moon and Gemini, Moon and Venus in Gemini. But, and I got, anyway, I'll leave that at that. What? I fucking lost my train of thought. Oh, but when I was listening to the Frater Xavier Mystery School, and this is a late video, it's towards the end, so, but I binge watched it like most people did. And I got the book, and I started reading the book at this point, but I haven't really started my exercises yet. Didn't really start the neophyte yet, because I wasn't sure. You know, you read the book, it tells you how to do lesser banishing, it tells you how to do the middle pillar, it tells you how to do all these things, and explains it in great detail. But until you actually watch somebody, and there's one thing I hate, is actually watching people do rituals. I don't know what it is. And I have to learn kind of how people did the lesser banishing, but it took me a long time before I looked at my first lesser banishing. I tried doing it myself without seeing anybody do it first. Same with the middle pillar, Kabbalistic cross, making a circle, all that. Like I said in the previous video, I had no idea how to make a fucking circle. I had no idea what they were talking about. And I heard Frater say there's some magical practitioners that'll do stuff. He's like, in hypnosis, or sorry, in meditation, you don't really need a circle. He's like, but he's like, I put one up. I put one up before I go to sleep. Bert says the same thing, because if attacks, spiritual, and other people's shit can affect you more when your subconscious is the one at the surface is wide open. So, but aside the point, like when I didn't know how to make a circle, I literally used an old King Solomon protection circle, and I drew it on a fucking piece of wood, and I put that piece of wood down, and I would stand in there because I didn't know how to make a circle. Obviously now I know how to make a circle, but that's one of the things I was going to talk about. I was just literally going to go through procedure, how I do all the things I do. And, you know, I don't know if people want to watch that, so I might just wait on that. But I don't like watching people do rituals online. I don't like watching people do fucking, you know, to me it's weird. It's like, you got a camera and you're doing a ritual in front of people. I know it feels weird, and I get it. Sometimes you need to see that. You know, people need to learn how to do these things somehow, and a lot of people don't know. Like, I didn't know. And like I said, I even had to watch it. I don't like it. I'd rather hear someone talk about it and explain it, because I can visualize in my head. I was just speaking, for the most part, pretty good and get a good, you know, whatever. But point is, it wasn't until I watched this video, the one I'm going to play for you today, I forgot about it, you know. But this video is very, very, covers a lot of fucking, a wide range of things. And, you know, the main point is don't judge people, because you're going to be judged with the same amount that you judge people. And you can say, well, that's in the Bible, and that's, you know, subjective. That's, the Bible's not real and all that. And it's true. Just because it's said in the Bible doesn't make it a real statement. But what is real is, call it karma, call it a cycle, call it a circuit, call it electricity, call it whatever the fuck you want. Whatever you put out there comes back to you. So if you judge people, you're going to be judged. By you judging people, if we are all one, then basically you're judging yourself. You see this person, there's something you don't like about that person, when in actuality you probably like that thing about that person, and you're mad at the fact that you're not like that person. So you pass judgment on them like, well, you know, I think Frater says it in this video, the old Aesop fable, where the fox wants the grapes. He jumps and jumps, can't reach the grapes, and I didn't want those grapes anyways. Well, it's like that. You are saying, well, I didn't want those fucking grapes. Basically, you don't think you can be like that person, so you insult that person. I guess it's not really like the fable, but you can't be like that person, so you judge that person. You pretend like it's something you don't want to be. Like, this person's charismatic, go with chicks, whatever the case is, and then you go to your buddy's, oh, he's probably fucking gay, that's why he's talking to those girls. And it's like, no, you're jealous that you're too scared to be like that with girls, and you're scared that if you did, the girls would reject you. Maybe that has happened to you in the past, so you're mad that you can't be like this person. So instead of saying, hey bud, is there anything I can do to be more like you? Can I learn from you? You're gonna say, you're a fucking faggot, you're gay. Which I have nothing against anybody who's gay or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm just using something that I think I've done probably in the past. And I know it's been done to me. I used to have a lot of friends in high school that were girls. Girls always came up and talked to me. Well, most people come up and talk to me and tell me the problems and shit like that. But I always listened to women when they spoke. Where a lot of guys were trying to impress them, and then when they would speak, they would just wait to speak back, or they'd be like frozen. A lot of men can be very intimidated by women. So, and there's some women that are the same around men. But nonetheless, point is, we judge people because, and it's not always that. I mean, you see someone who's hot, who's on drugs. It's not like, holy fuck, you want to be on drugs. I mean, maybe you do, but most people will see that person, and it's because, you know, they disassociate with it because they think that they can't be like that person. It's like, oh my god, how did they make such shitty choices to get him to this point to be a drug addict and all that and blah 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 blah. And it's like, well, in actuality, we all have that within us. Most people don't want to realize that could potentially be their child, that could potentially be them or their parents or their niece or nephew, you know. So they just they judge them, say, oh no, those people are just fucking blah 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 blah. So it can't happen to my family. My family's not like that. Yet, if you judge that person, guess what? You're gonna be judged with the same fucking thing. Meaning, you judge that person. Don't be surprised if someone you know or yourself become like that. So you learn that fucking hard lesson to not judge those people. You know, and I don't know if Thunder Wizard was judging me or he didn't like the fact that maybe I was promoting something that he is trying to say was fake on his channel. And I've already proven that you can use positive affirmations. And I've also already stated, and I'll make this crystal clear, that the barrier between what I believe a positive affirmation can be and what he thinks a positive affirmation could be the simple explanation for our misconception, for our agree to disagree, our disagreement we're having on this. It's not like we're having a disagreement, and I don't hate the guy. I like the guy. I still watch his videos because I like learning from him. There's a lot of things I learned from him, but he's a very Marsarian, very warrior type of guy. What's Mars about? Action. Take action. What does fucking Thunder Wizard preach all the time? Action, 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 action. Fuck the mind. It doesn't matter what you think about. You can't change things with your mind. You can't use the law of attraction to think things into existence. You got to take action. But to him, taking action is doing spiritual exercises. Well, spiritual exercises are using your fucking mind. So if you're going to use, and once again, he wants people to buy his products, and I'm sure his products, his programs work. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he discounts the mind, yet he wants you to use the mind. He'll sit there and say, I can be blissed out, and I can use the whole breath, and I can do all these things. Well, using breath is a symbolic representation of air, which is your thoughts. If you can control your breath, well, you start gaining control over your thoughts. But if you can't control your breath or do breath work or know how to use your nose specifically and do breathing techniques, well, what makes you think you're going to have any control over your thoughts? And likewise, this video will also talk about a whole lot about how the mind, if you control the mind, you control your life. And he tends to believe, well, you got to take actions. Yeah, but if you control your mind, well, then you control your actions. Most people can't just take action without controlling their mind first. They have to get the mind under control, and then they can do the action. That's why air is in the east. We start in the east. The sun rises in the east. The moon rises in the east. The moon being the subconscious, and the sun being the conscious. That's why you wake up in the morning. You know, you should be facing east probably in your bed. You know, feng shui, air, flow, water, whatever. I forget what it is. I think it's air and water or something like that. Feng shui, something to that effect. Point is, the sun rises in the east. Your conscious mind starts in your fucking thoughts. And then it moves over to action. And then it goes through the emotions. And then it becomes materialized on the earth. That's why it's like this. So just to discount the mind and say you can't say things, well, saying things is a part of Mars. It's consciously, it's action. Your words are actions. You saying stuff is very projective. It's very Marsarian. Your phallus gets big and projects out the semen into the egg that the vagina or the ovaries and the uterus and all that fun stuff inside the fallopian tubes and shit happens for the woman. Well, you know, it accepts it. And the subconscious mind also rises in the east, the moon. Whenever it's time for you to go to bed, well, it comes out telling you, hey, time for bed. Put your subconscious mind to rest, everybody. Wait till the sun comes out. You know, that's where everything starts, is in the east, and it's air, and that's where everything has to start. So I'm not bashing the Thunder Wizard, but what works for him and the people that are attracted to him are probably great and needed, but he continuously wants more followers. He wants to be more popular. He's got 20,000 subscribers almost. Like, I mean, that's a lot, man. Holy fuck. I'm grateful about the 45 that just went down to 43 that I have, and I think that's huge. And I couldn't imagine if I had that many people that were following me, you know. And obviously I don't have stuff yet that is worthy of having that many people follow me, and maybe the stuff I'm talking about is too advanced or too out there. Maybe it doesn't even make sense, who knows, but I don't think so. I think my stuff is really good. I think it's really deep and philosophical. I guess that's not even a word, but and it's for the more advanced practitioner who's been doing maybe the grades of my system, or any other magical practitioner who's been in the game for a while to maybe understand or whatever. Or maybe it's simply just an outlet for me to talk. I don't care. But point is, you know, if you want to reach out to more people, well, you can do sigil magic for that. You can do candle magic for that. Simple little fucking things to get you a ton of money or a ton of followers. a ton of anything. It's such simple processes. You don't have to meditate fucking 4 times a day and fucking to change your life like that. You know, you don't. You really don't. You can simply do magic, sigils, or whatever. Ask what the fuck your purpose is. You'll start being led to it. But that's besides the point. But, you know, what he's doing is not a bad thing. Getting more people to take action instead of sitting on their ass watching videos all day is definitely a good thing. But point is, there's a lot of people that want to just sit around all day. People want the easy and the shortcuts, and that's why there is a lot of bullshit out there. And he's trying to stomp that out, and I get that. That's a good thing to do. We need more people out here trying to stomp out the bullshit fake spirituality shit. And what I'm trying to say, all I was trying to say with that was, there's a way to do positive affirmations that you can use as your benefit, and you can use a positive affirmation to banish something out of your life. You'll say, well, banishing is negative, and positive is positive. You know, it's not the same thing. So no, that's not true. If you're drawing money into you, you're pulling it into your being, you're pulling it into your life, that's negative. Negative is the pull. Plus is the push. Positive is where you push things away. If you have a poverty mindset, if you have scarcity mindset, if you have a disease, you need to push that shit out of you. But, you know, you can be a wordsmith and pull that out of you, push things into you. That's all up to you. It depends on how you program your mind. And if you don't know how it's been programmed, who cares? Just start programming it the way you feels the best way that, you know, and it's probably going to be the way you are programmed. So either way, you can fix all this shit. But I didn't start doing ritual magic until after this video. I decided to start. And you'll see why. He goes on a big rant with this one person with a victim mindset. And after seeing the sigil magic ball. And here's the thing. Frater on his, 4th or 5th video in that series, he gives you a sigil. He doesn't tell you what it's for. And he ends up saying it in one of his first programs that he makes, what the sigil is for. And I looked at that sigil, and I have kids, and I have basketballs, and the sigil is to get an orange ball to appear in your yard. Something silly, but this is how you do magic. If you start doing magic and you want proof, well, then you start making sigils for little things that you don't need. So a good example is of an orange ball showing up in your yard. There's a sigil on the Mind and Magic channel. You don't even have to draw it, but you can. And do the I watched his videos a few times in a row. Like when I first watched the mystery school, I watched it until I finished them all. And then I watched it again. Probably watched it about 4 fucking times. Because I was doing the book too, though. After I watched Don't Be Judged Lest It Be Judged video that I'm about to show you, I started doing the magic process. And one of the reasons was that as I got that ball to appear in my yard. And using a law of attraction and writing shit down. Prior to all this, before I got into ceremonial magic, I got 10 grand. I lost my job, but I got 10 grand. I got 10 grand 2 times, I think, before I even started the magic. I don't know if it's 2. I mean, there's like 5 times now I got 10 grand. 2 of them were before I started magic. The other 3 were after, so. And this is why I know there's some truth to the law of attraction and shit like that, depending on where you get your information. And for me, I wrote everything down that I wanted to happen like a fucking story. And I thought that was real, and then I burnt the fucking pages, and then boom. So I did magic, basically, by the law of attraction. And then I had everything I wrote down on that paper that I wanted to come into reality. I recorded it on a recorder, and I would listen to it as soon as I woke up. I listened to it periodic through the day, and then listen to it at night. I also took Earl Nightingale's information and suggestion of writing down whatever it is the fuck you want, because he says the mind will grow whatever you want. It'll grow whatever you don't want or whatever you do want in just as much abundance. It compares it to the earth. You can plant nightshade, a deadly poison, which is actually a real thing, by the way. Or you can plant rosebush or whatever, and the earth doesn't care. It doesn't discriminate. It'll give you just as much nightshade poison as it'll give you roses. And it's only us that says it's bad. But if you have, let's say, rats in your house, and your kids are getting fucking head lice because there's rats around, or whatever the case is, they're eating your food, they're leaving garbage everywhere, they're breeding and they're destroying your house. Well, that poison's gonna come in fucking handy to kill those fucking rats. You say, well, that's not nice. It's like, well, then bring them to a fucking lab where they can kill them and we can learn about them. But people aren't doing that anymore. And we learn a lot from rats, by the way, which is probably a bad thing. And I'm not one for killing animals or animal testing of any kind. I don't like that. But if you breed them for that and you treat them right, and then eventually when they die or whatever, then you do it, well, then it's not such a big deal. That's how we learn about humans. Anyways, I'm off the topic. I don't think killing rats is a good thing. I'm just trying to give you an example of where poison could come in handy. There are ways to use poison. For example, alcohol is poison. But if it wasn't for alcohol, a lot of us would have died a long time ago when the waters got all too muddy and people were going in it, and there was viruses and infection and disease in the water, and everybody was dying when they were drinking it. And if you didn't drink the water, you would also die. So a rock in a hard place, right? Well, somebody took the alcohol they had and poured it into the water, and it saved society. I learned that in college, by the way, from I was taking hotel restaurant management and bartending, and I know, weird, right? But something I learned, I think I was either in Africa or Egypt, I can't remember where. And Egypt was actually where beer came from, and beer was before wine, believe it or not. And then most people don't think that's the case, and I didn't. I thought wine was first, but there you are. Beer's a lot older than wine. But anyways, point. What the fuck was the point I was trying to get at with that? That's a weird thing to talk about. What the fuck? God, I hate this going off on that. My eyes are heavy too. I don't even know why. They're closing on me. That's why I wear the shades now. But yeah, so the mind doesn't discriminate. It'll give you whatever the fuck you want. And this is old information. Earl Nightingale made this in the 1950s, telling everybody how powerful your mind is. And he says you have to take action as well. They go together. But yeah, I took his information and I wrote down also part of my, not the whole thing, because my statement of intent at this point, or the story I wrote down, ended up being like 4 pages long, which was great for the recorder, because the longer it was, the less times it had to loop. And at this time, I couldn't figure out how to get to loop, so I had to keep pressing play. So at night, if I fell asleep, then I would only play once. But then I figured out how to make a loop, and it was awesome. So then it wasn't long after that it manifested. But I did all these things at the same time, so I can't tell you which one is the one I did it. They probably all did it. You know what I mean? All these different symbolic representations going into my mind for what I want. And like I said, I burnt the things up. I walked around with the thing in my pocket. Why do you do stuff like that? How does that make sense? If you got to burn the thing for it to come into your existence, well, what is walking around with it for 30 days going to do? Well, you're putting energy into it every fucking day. Even when you're not thinking about it, your subconscious knows it's there. It's putting more energy into it, creating it on that astral plane. And then once you finally get rid of it or put it away or whatever the case is, then it filters down into your life. The more energy you can put into something, faster it'll come to you. Well, once you get rid of the representation. But so I did all those things, and that's why, like, when someone says there's no such thing as positive affirmations, it's like, well, it depends on your definition of positive affirmations. Because to me, like I said in that video, negative self-talk, negative jinxing yourself or cursing yourself is a type of affirmation to me. Anything that you are affirmatively affirming to yourself, confirming to yourself over and over and over and over again is going to happen in your life. And that's what you don't want positive affirmations. Now, the way some of those sites and people fucking try to teach you how to do it and say the statements they say, like he showed on that channel, and he's bang on about that, is ridiculous. You got to make this shit yourself, and you got to say it over and over, and you got to feel it, and you got to believe it, and you got to put the energy into it to create it out there. But there's a lot of ways to look at positive affirmations. And if you're just going to sit there and say, I'm so grateful, I'm rich, well, don't expect much to happen. But if you get creative with it and find a way to have something said to you, playing over and over to you, or something on your body, or do something so many times that it plays out in your life, to me that's an affirmation. Because ritual magic is not an affirmation. Even though you might be doing ritual magic every day, it's not an affirmation, because it's magic. It's a symbolic representation going in your mind. But affirmation is just something you're affirming to yourself. Something you're trying to get past your conscious mind. Conscious mind is what blocks you. Subconscious mind is easy. Everybody's subconscious mind works the same. The difference lies in what way is it easier for you to get shit into your subconscious mind. And symbolism is universal for everybody. Using symbolism, you can get into subconscious mind. And you can say, well, that's not the case. Everybody's different. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, then how come the TV can program everybody? Because visualization and symbolic representations can get into anybody's subconscious mind. That's all you have to do to program yourself. That's how you got programmed. By watching your parents, by hearing shit they said to you over and over like an affirmation that you were worthless, got into your head. Over and over and over and over and over again. And this is how you redo yourself. So affirmations are real. They do work. You got to do it the right way. Don't let somebody tell you that they don't work because they want you to either buy their programs or it didn't work for them. It did work for them, just not in the way that they are, not in the way Thunder Wizard believes affirmations are. He believes it's this broad, vague statement that you say at the edge of your bed twice a night and then something's going to come to you. It's like, no. Anybody who's actually serious and used affirmations knows they have to say that shit over and over and over again. This is why the recorder comes in handy, because you no longer have to say it and you can just play it. And you can play it whenever you're in different altered states. Put yourself in the alpha state and play that bitch and see how fast things come into your life. It's not hard. These things are easy. Anybody can do them. People that are selling products don't want other people telling people this stuff, because then no one will buy their products. They're in scarcity. But if he had something to offer more people, then people would come to him. And I'm not saying he doesn't have something to offer, but out of the 20,000 people that are following him on there, there's probably another 20,000 that are also watching him that aren't subscribed to him. And let's say maybe there's 5,000 of those people that bought his products. And he spent that money and no one's really buying it. Maybe he gets 1, 2 a day right now and he wants more. Well, then he's got to offer more. He's got to offer something to a wider variety of people. And if he doesn't want to do that, well, then he has to wait for those people to seek him out. And he's got to stop judging people, because the more he judges people, he gets judged. So if he keeps judging people on his channel, it is entertaining and people are going to watch it. But people are going to also judge him, and no one's going to buy a product from somebody they're judging. Anyways, I'm going to play Frater's video and then I'll come back on and we'll discuss some more shit about it.
And we're back. We haven't done a mailbag video in quite a while, and so that's what we're going to do this time around, except we're not going to call it a mailbag video, because when I do that, nobody seems to watch them. Even though some of the greater lessons taught on this channel are in the mailbag videos. And this one should be no exception, so let's jump right in here. Hello, I guess I'm writing to you to say thank you. My ex-girlfriend and I discovered your videos last October. I've watched a few, but she's watched a lot. We were going through some rough times, and now things have gotten really bad between us. Legal issues. I'm facing bogus charges from her when she was drunk and got combative. But anyway, I noticed she took a lot of what you said to heart and got less tolerable of me.
Oh, snap.
She did a cleansing spell and some other things where she told me some dark and creepy things happened after she did it. I'm not sure if it helped or not, or if it just released a lot of dark energy she's been battling since she was a teenager. She's only 20, I'm 26. I just really believe that she wasn't in the right mind, and it did more damage than good. For now, I'm moving on from her. I miss her dearly. We spent the last 2 years together, but things got really bad. I'm wondering if you have any videos with this world's bullshit legal issues and growing spiritually. Alright, quite a bit in there to cover, so we'll begin with, are there any videos of mine that deal with growing spiritually? Well, that's kind of what we do here, so take your pick. If you're looking for real, transformative spiritual growth, I recommend the book Kabbalah, Magic, and the Great Work of Self-Transformation by Liam Thomas Christopher. As for videos on the law, not so much. I may have a couple of videos where I brought it up, probably mailbag videos, but I couldn't tell you exactly which ones they were. The thing about the law that you need to understand is that no matter how complex the law seems to be, almost all laws are derived from only three. 3 laws of the land. You may not cause harm to anyone, whether that be physical or financial, whatever. You may not cause loss to another's property, whether that be stealing, damage, etc. And you may not break or commit fraud in your contracts. And that's about it. So if you're having legal issues, someone is claiming that you violated one of these 3 areas: harm, loss, or contracts. And there's always 2 sides to every story due to the law of polarity, and so I'm sure she would have an opposite tale to tell. So I don't want to take any sides here, but you seem to be thanking me for influencing your situation. So you're welcome. I get messages and mail from time to time on relationships where people just don't know when a bad thing is a bad thing. So if things have gotten as bad as you say they've gotten, then it's at least good that you've recognized it as such. Hi, Prater. A few weeks ago, I did the money spell you teach in The Secrets of Wealth. Some days ago, my father added me to his bank account, so now we share the money. It is family money. He also reminded me of a lot of U.S. dollars I have and didn't remember. Here in Argentina, it's a lot of money. I would like to know your opinion about this. The spell worked, but I was expecting new earnings, not old savings or sharings. Are those old savings clutter? Thank you, great channel. Well, clutter isn't exactly the word that I would use for it, but yes, unused funds. This is actually very common, so there's no real need to be concerned about it. You did some spell work, you asked the universe for money, and the universe was like, hey, you have some money that you've forgotten about right here. What about this right here? I mean, it just happened to me. I had just gotten some money back from the state treasury that was unclaimed money just sitting there that I didn't know they had. My girlfriend was online looking up to see if she had any money unclaimed that the state was holding, and ended up finding some under my name, which I have no idea what it was from, where they got it, but it was unclaimed, unused money that I didn't know I had. So it happens. It's quite common. Just keep doing what you're doing, and new money will come. I have a question for you, Frater. In one of your early videos, you mentioned, in passing, the necessity of spending 10 months in each grade. I'm wondering if you can elaborate on this any further and why, in your opinion, 6 months is not enough. I'm interested in the debate about how much time to spend in each grade and have come across a variety of conflicting opinions. Thank you. Your videos have been extremely helpful. And thank you for watching. All I can say is that there is no magic number. Some people are going to progress faster than others. I say 10 months because that's about what it took me in each grade. I was not ready in 6. You will know when you are ready to progress to the next grade, if you are honest with yourself. What you don't want to do is jump into the next grade every 6 months when you're not truly ready for it. You don't want to be rigid in that way. I feel that 10 months is a good average of time for each grade. But some may progress in 8, some may progress in 6, some may take 12 months to complete a grade. There is no magic number, however, I would say that 6 months is the minimum. You'll know when you're ready to progress as long as you are honest with yourself. Alright, this next one's a little longer, so I'm going to cut it down a bit and perhaps even paraphrase a little. Since listening to your channel and dabbling in some of the things you have talked about, some interesting things have happened, including a lottery win on my birthday. Nice. I did the money spell in my head, forgot about it, and went on with life. I won a lottery that my parents and I split a ticket on. I was so happy that they were a part of it with me. It felt right. Congratulations. About a week ago, my aunt and uncle did something to me that was a financial betrayal. I let it go. I didn't get mad, only a bit sad. However, I learned yesterday that they suffered a financial loss that was at least twice as much as they caused me. I'm not laughing. I feel responsible somehow, even though I did nothing. I'm hoping it's just karma, and that's the end of it. I guess you can say it was karma. I mean, everything does return to source. So the financial harm that they caused upon you was revisited upon them, only twice as much. The interesting part about this for me is that it happened after your lottery win. I'm not sure exactly how long after your lottery win that this happened, but it reminds me that everyone has a financial set point in their subconscious mind. Now, if you earn more or get a sudden windfall above that set point, the subconscious mind will create ways to bring it back down to your actual set point. In other words, they'll find ways for you to lose money. And if it's below the set point, if you've lost some money, it'll find ways to bring it back up. And this is why people usually stay about the same income level for most of their lives. We could go on further to call this set point their financial comfort level. Now, in the Secrets of Wealth program, I show how to raise your set point. so that you earn more money and have more money coming in, so that your subconscious will find ways to bring money to you. This subconscious financial set point is going to be one of the key factors in determining how much money that you make. It's why people will do money spells, and they'll get the money, but it still won't improve their overall yearly or long-term income. They haven't moved their set point, so they're stuck with just doing little money spell after money spell after money spell for short-term or small gains instead of long-term and big lasting gains. It's something that I teach in the Secrets of Wealth program, and it's something that everyone should learn if they want to improve their financial situation. But this person goes on to say that she believes her 17-year-old daughter is doing drugs. She denies it. She don't believe her because she's seeing her change before her eyes. But she doesn't know what to do. She's afraid to do magic, and she's afraid for her daughter, and is asking for my advice, which my advice is going to be do magic, even though you are afraid to do so. I also understand that you're afraid for your daughter. There's a lot of bad drugs going around out there. One of my nephews just died about a month and a half ago when I had pneumonia of a heroin overdose. He lived over half a state away, and I had no idea he was having problems. A lot of kids aren't making exactly the brightest decisions these days. But understand also that being afraid and fear isn't going to help anything. Because what you think about, you bring about. So if you're always thinking about your daughter being on drugs, and then you throw an emotional component of fear on top of it, afraid that she's doing this, it can actually help to bring about what you fear. This is what I talk about when I say that people are doing magic whether they know it or not, but that most people are doing magic against their own interests, and they don't even know it. Dwell not on that which you fear, but on that which you desire. Now, when it comes to drug addiction, or any addiction in general, really, in my experience, the person has to want to quit. But there are ways to get a person to not want it anymore. All addictions are ruled in the subconscious mind, so you have to address it there. Yes, some things are physically addicting as well, but the subconscious habit is much harder to break and get control of, so you have to address it in the subconscious, whether it be through hypnosis, sigils, etc. I recommend doing some sigil magic and also creating some sigils for losing the desire to do drugs and hiding them in plain sight around the house, so that your daughter can pass by them and see it without really seeing it, so that it gets into the subconscious and starts programming that way, so that you can start programming a drug-free household. Best wishes and blessings in your efforts to improve your daughter's life. I got your Laws of Magic program a while back, and now I'm really listening to it carefully, and I got to the sigil for the orange ball last week. I viewed it. I thought how the odds of that manifesting were really slim. Then yesterday, I even took pictures. A hard plastic orange ball showed up in my front yard. I wondered at first if someone had put it there deliberately, but I really think that is a long shot. No one knew about the sigil. I've seen plenty of things, so it's not like it's a surprise that magic and sigils can work. On the contrary, it really was like a sad reminder for me of how poorly my own magic works when it comes to manifesting. I didn't make the sigil. I simply viewed it for a minute, then took it in, and it obviously must have influenced my subconscious. It angered me at first about the fact that even though I have tried and even made sigils for it in the past, I have not been able to cover my basic financial needs for years now. But then I get a damn orange ball in my front yard with the sigil made by someone else. I know how you feel. And this is why I advise people to always start with things that they don't care about first. See, you didn't really care about that orange ball. You just glanced at it for less than a minute and probably let it go even quicker than that, allowing it to easily and effortlessly manifest. Now, contrast that to the times that you do sigil magic for the things that you do care about. Instead of just glancing at it for a minute, do you stare at it for like an hour trying to force it into your brain. There is a such thing as trying too hard when it comes to magic. When it comes to magic, the act of trying to force something into your mind is actually preventing it from getting into your subconscious mind. Holding things in the conscious mind will always block them from getting into the subconscious mind. So then you're thinking about it afterwards because you really want this to work, but you're not letting go, you're not allowing it to manifest. So the solution for you then is to treat the things that you really want like the things that you don't really care about. And that's why I say to start practicing with things that you don't really care about first, so you know what it's like. And I know that tends to fly in the face of a lot of what is taught in magic. And as I have said, that we should give it our all, but that's in ritual. When it comes to sigil magic, the most important thing is to be able to relax and just allow the subconscious mind to soak up the image, the sigil, the symbol, and then just go about our day, relax. The most important thing is to not think about it. And the best way to not think about it is to not care about it all that much. A lot of times people are blocking themselves when it comes to the results because they care too much, because they need something to work. We'll pull another George Costanza here. When all else fails, try the opposite. This viewer goes on to say, I know it's my problem in my subconscious, but I also know there's an abundance of scarcity consciousness in the world, and I have gotten caught up in it like so many other people. It's not a problem in your subconscious. Everyone's subconscious works the same way. If you successfully implant the instruction into your subconscious, the subconscious must carry it out. So the problem isn't in your subconscious, the problem is in your execution. The universe has no problem dishing up that orange ball for me. If that ball was a lot of money, the universe would find some way to mess with it, because the energies of resistance are not just personally about me. I don't think the society wants people like me to thrive. See, you have a defeatist attitude. That's another issue that you're having. I have had money here and there. I'm not homeless. Right now, I always get fed, but I never thrive economically. Look at all these statements that he's making. My bosses have mostly been selfish narcissists, actually. That's going to have to do with your astrological chart and what house they fall into. One of the reasons that I began working for myself instead of just a 9 to 5 is because bosses in my chart fall into my house of enemies. And so I would always have bosses seemingly out to get me. And from my perspective, for no reason. But, that's just how it is. It falls in that chart. The bosses are going to be a problem, and they're just not going to like you. He continues, I don't think like most of these selfish people. I just want to have enough money to enjoy life. The things that are valued in our society are often trashing the environment. The people who are valued are often blatantly terrible. So perhaps my magic should go into changing the society we live in. I would like to see the stock market crash. I think it would do the greater good in the long run until the money is taken out of the hands of the Illuminati and the elite. Oh shit. Illuminati alert.
Oh snap.
Our planet is screwed, and it's sad that most people want to pretend otherwise. Maybe when they are broke, they will wake up too. Sorry, this was so long and angry, but I'm being honest. I'm going to take that orange ball to the wealthy part of town and leave it in a fancy yard. Yes, you were being honest about it being long and angry, but that's about it. Your first half about the ball showing up in your yard was great, and we covered exactly why you are having the issues that you're having. But then your second half went into the biggest self-pity bullshit I've ever heard in my life. You say you don't think like all these other selfish people, but yet you want to crash the stock market so that people will lose money so that they somehow can think and feel as you do. That's pretty damn selfish. See, I always say that people always want others to feel and think as they do. Those who are miserable will always want to make others miserable, And those who are in a higher vibration and happy will always want others to be happy. People are just trying to express how they feel, and they want others to experience how they feel. And I'm sorry, if you aren't feeling all that well, if you are miserable, if you are not having the best time, if you are poor, and you want others to experience that, that is selfish. Well, how else are they going to see it from my way, you say? Well, perhaps you need to see it from their way instead. See, if you had the Secrets of Wealth program, you would know that I would say that this self-defeating attitude that you have is the absolute worst thing that you can do. Also, if you view others who have money as being selfish, greedy, part of the Illuminati, trashing the environment, as you say, because, all people who have money are out there just doing all these things. If you view those who have money as being somehow bad and evil, what do you think that's doing to your subconscious and affecting your income? These views that you have of money, of people with money, and the world are literally keeping you poor. Change your mind, change your life. And I should know because I used to think like that. See, people with money don't think like that. The wealthy certainly don't think like that. And so the second half of what you wrote is really revealing in the base of your problem. Again, I go over all of this in the Secrets of Wealth program, but if you somehow convince yourself that you can't afford that either, then you should take away one thing from this, and that is you need to change your outlook about money, about people with money, so that you're not setting your subconscious up to have an aversion and opposition to money. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Now, that doesn't mean that God is going to come and put you through a trial and punish you. It means that when you go around judging, you are actually passing sentence upon yourself. Let's see how many judgments you have made in just this second half alone. If that ball was a lot of money, the universe would find some way to mess with it. You've already judged that you cannot be successful with money because the universe will screw you over. It's a victim mentality. Woe is me. I have all the bad luck. And I go over all this in the Words of Power program on the self-imposing jinx. When you have a belief that when X happens, Y will happen also. In this case, if you got money, that something would screw it up. And so that's what happens and would continue to happen. Because every time it happens, you say the same thing and reinforce it. This has a lot more to do with your attitude and the way you think and the way you speak than you realize. I don't think this society wants people like me to thrive. Again, victim mindset. But I never thrive economically. See, when you pass judgment like this, who is the universe to argue with you? As you are part of the universe. I don't think like most of these selfish people. Well, that is a judgment. The things that are valued in our society are often trashing the environment. This is an opinion from your perspective and a judgment. The people who are valued are often blatantly terrible. Again, passing judgment. Due to the law of polarity, for every bad there is a good. So what you see as terrible people, I'm going to assume, are what? The rich? Fact, the rich are the most charitable people. Fact, the rich create all the jobs for everyone else. Fact, the rich don't have nor entertain the victim mindset, which is the most destructive mindset. We can go on and on. I would like to see the stock market crash. I think it would do the greater good in the long run. For who? For you? What may be good for one may not be good for another by the law of polarity. I don't believe that you're saying this for, quote, the greater good, end quote. You should be honest and just admit why you're saying this. Envy. It's like the old Aesop fable, the fox and the grapes. The fox saw some grapes hanging out of reach. He tried and tried to reach them, but he couldn't get to them. He finally gave up, turned and walked away, saying, I didn't even want them anyway. except you're adding you shouldn't have them either. Until the money is taken out of the hands of the Illuminati and the elite, our planet is screwed, and it's sad that most people want to pretend otherwise. The power just went out for like an hour and a half. I'm sure you do have a dark cloud thought form working overtime against you. Thankfully, autosave saved the day, and I didn't lose all of this recording. So we were at you saying that the money needs to be taken away from the Illuminati, and we're all screwed until that happens. Well, who should have the money? You? Because I can make the argument that we're far better off in their hands than yours, simply due to your mindset. If you can't raise yourself out of poverty, how can anyone else prosper if you are in charge? And then you say maybe when they are broke, they will wake up too. No, it's you who needs to wake up, because they're not the ones who are broke, which means they're doing something right and you are not. I'm sure you have a million excuses, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to your attitude and mindset. We shouldn't be too concerned with you changing the world and crashing the stock market and causing mayhem in the streets if you can't change your own financial situation. Magically, money is the easiest magic there is, in my opinion. Health, love magic, etc. may have to take a few shots at it to get it going. Money magic, I can crank that out all day, every day. It's not even an issue. And so can you. Get the Secrets of Wealth program. Follow everything in there. Don't just do one thing and say, oh, it didn't work because I just tried one thing. No, you have to do these things together. You have to do the work, especially the section on proper mindset. You simply cannot attract wealth without it. Next, get the Words of Power program and learn how to stop creating negative thought forms that work against you. Follow the things in the program, change your mindset and attitude, and I guarantee within a year, you won't even recognize yourself. You'll be completely changed. The only thing you'll be mad about then is that you didn't change your mindset sooner. I hope this makes sense to you and that you can finally begin to prosper. That's all the time we have for today, so until next time, take care. If you enjoyed this video, here's another Mystery School lesson you may have missed. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more weekly content to help expand your knowledge. Thanks for all the love and support, and I'll see you next time. Take care. And we're back. Before I have to go away again. In just over a week, my girlfriend will be having surgery on her foot, which means she will have to be off of her feet for 2 to 3 weeks while she heals up. She won't be...
I feel good, I feel good, I feel good, I feel good. 'Cause when I write and I speak, I release like I should, like I should. What the fuck is going on, doodah? Oodah, my bad attempt of making the Avenged Sevenfold fucking symbol. I shouldn't have made the face, 'cause it looks like a disgrace. But I don't care, I don't wear underwear anywhere. I don't know, I just like rhyming, y'all. Okay, so, I found an orange ball, and it wasn't one of my 100 balls. I don't have 100 balls, I have 2. But I mean, my 4 kids have about 100 balls between them, 25 each. And if you think that's retarded, oh, yeah, probably. Spoiled rotten. And this was amazing to me because the laws of attraction shit that made me manifest 10 grand twice before magic. That took about 6 months for the entire spell, script, statement, story to manifest. The 10 grand happened 3 months. I got fired, I got 10 grand. as you know, when a business goes down, they give you, what's it called? Starts with an S. Anyways, they give you something. I forget the name of it. It starts with an S. Severance. Give you a severance pay. I got fired and I got 10 grand severance pay. And I don't like saying I got fired, but it's just to prove that my script worked, because who gets fired and gets a severance? It says my mom was still there and they wanted to keep a hush-hush so the people didn't go around telling people. And it's like, well, what are you going to do when people see I'm not there? You're going to say I got fired? Like, so what's the big deal? But it doesn't matter. I got fired and I got a 10 grand severance. That happened 3 months, and then 6 months later, I got the second car, which was within the script. But further down, that's probably the problem of writing 4 pages as well. One page, and another page, another page. So at the 3-month mark, got the 3rd page. 4-month mark, I got the fucking 2nd page. 5th month mark, I got the 3rd page. On the 6th month, I got the fucking 4th page. Probably something to that effect. So yeah, the car was probably at the end. But then I got my second car and all the other little things in between that, like starting a YouTube channel, getting popular and stuff like that. I mean, my YouTube channel is not so popular, and I think I focus on Spreaker versus YouTube. But like I showed, and I mean, I think 45 is a lot. So when I saw I have 300 followers through Spotify, I was floored. That's why I put the picture up there, because I don't think people will believe it if I just said it. Because that's like, you know, if 45 or 43, sorry, is what I have right now, well, that's like 45 times 2 is 90. 90 goes into 350 or however many I have. I forget what it was. But it's like 5 times the amount of people that I'm subscribed to be on YouTube. And that's just like radio, you know, my podcast. So, and you know, and that's the thing. And on Spreaker, I think I have 6 followers. So, you know, the 45 on YouTube I thought was the biggest place. And then like Apple Podcasts and Google, a lot of those are like combined with iTunes and all that. And I think it's something like 10 or whatever. And on Tumblr, I think I got like 18. Instagram is different. It's my wife doesn't have anything, and she's got like 200 people following her on there, versus I'm trying to promote ceremonial witchcraft. Well, I used to be. I don't put anything on there anymore. It's tied to my Facebook. My Facebook's tied to my name. Once again, I'm not ashamed of what I do, but I don't want what I do to be like, oh my god, my mom saw your dad's Facebook, Savannah, and your dad's like a Satan worshiper, and he plays with demons and fucks with girl demonic spirits and stuff, she said. Like, that's weird. I can't be your friend anymore. So that's why I like keep that shit separate. Not that that will ever happen, as I would banish that from happening, and I accept that my private and my ceremonial witchcraft and the ceremonial witch persona will be separate from my daughter's reality. I will the harm-free motive be. And you can say the shit that I just do like that is whacked out. Like, I mean, that shit doesn't work. But once again, I can give you a spell. I got this from Frederick Xavier, okay? And it's one of his paid programs. It's one of the many things he gives you in, I think it's the Secrets of Wealth program. And he says he doesn't know if this works. And he says most of these things he got from somebody else. So I'll give you one, but I won't give you much. And I mean, 7 eggs, 7-day ritual. You got to go to a 4-corner, a fucking crossroad. And not like the crossroads where like it's the fucking fucking skull. I gotta turn on the car. Not the crossroads where it's the train tracks, but a crossroad where there's 4 corners. And every night you have to go and you gotta take an egg and you gotta shoot it at the curb, and then you walk looking back, and you hit the one part of the 4-corner curb, and then you hit another part, and you gotta do that every night for 7 nights in a row. On Bluetooth and all that. You gotta hit a different part of the 4 corners every night. And if you have to, because you can't remember where you hit with the egg, say the egg's gone or whatever, your city's really good at cleaning up the streets, well, and you can't like see a different part. Because I mean, technically there's 8 parts of this, right? Curb like this, curb like this, curb like this, and curb like this, right? So you can hit this part and then this part. So you can technically do it all at once. You can do it all the same one, or you can go to separate ones and make sure you hit, you know, but I would say just do 2. But, you know, I'd rather hit the same 4. I hit the same 4 corners 7 times, except for that 1/8 part that I didn't hit. And shit works. And I think the logic behind it is folk magic, but the logic behind it is there's a type of spirit that chills there at the 4 corners. And I can get into the fact that crossroads are where, kind of like the train tracks, why the train tracks are crossroads tied to Hecate and spirits and the between worlds and stuff like that, because there's a lot of people that go by in trains. There's a lot of people going by the four corners. There's a lot of minds there repetitively throughout the day thinking about God knows what. When you're in a car, you're in a daze. It's very hypnotic. You have all these symbols going by you. Your subconscious is wide open. Hence why the radio and advertising on the radio fucking works, and it fucking works well. Because you're driving and your conscious mind is consciously focusing on the driving. Subconscious is wide open to take everything in. But anyway, so I can get into all that, but I won't. But apparently there's a spirit that follows you home. And this spirit, because of the offerings you gave it, you bought this pack of eggs for $2.99 or whatever it is. You know, more expensive the eggs, probably the better, but go cheap. Because you don't know if it's going to work. It worked for me. But anyways, and that's something I'll talk about too. But they follow you home, and then, you know, because of the 7 eggs you gave them as a sacrifice, they hook you up with money. And you can say, oh, that's retarded. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But here's the thing. I'm going to get into the placebo right now. And this is how powerful the mind is. And it goes back to all the shit I just said about Thunder Wizard discounting the mind. And I'm not picking on Thunder Wizard, trying to make him look like an asshole, like I said. I think he is there for the people that need to take action. There's certain people that need a deity, and they can call on Sarge. Sarge is the deity that'll whip your ass in the shit. You need discipline. You need a sergeant to say, maggot, get the fuck out there and do some shit. You call on Sarge. He's a created deity, a created thought form that will whip your ass into shape. Well, some people need that. They need to go on there and see a big fucking 50-year-old man who's in good shape. Tell him, take fucking action, take fucking action. Stop giving me your sob stories. Stop telling me that you're a fucking worthless piece of shit victim. And stop kidding your fucking self. I say this out of tough love. I fucking love you. Now go fucking take some fucking action, you fucking maggot. And that's, I think, what Thunder Wizard is doing. And I think he's doing a hell of a job at it. So I'm not dissing him. But I know that not everybody that goes to this channel is going to believe that. Not only that, he's going to repel people. People are going to judge him, whatever, like I just said earlier. Everything starts in the mind. Once again, placebo effect. You can take a sugar pill. I gave somebody water in high school and told them it was vodka. This person never drank before. And by the end of the day, they were throwing up. They were acting hammered. And I thought they were just acting until I saw them puke. Like just projectile, like people do when they're drunk. They're just sitting there trying to hold it in. They don't want to make a rush to the bathroom because they don't want to make made fun of, and all of a sudden it just comes out because they couldn't hold it anymore. That was the kind of puke. It wasn't like he went to the bathroom and gagged himself or whatever. I mean, it was insane. Placebo effect. So here's the thing. You think this is going to work. And gullible people have it made if they get into magic. And, I mean, maybe that means I'm gullible, I don't know. But I understand this now. I didn't understand when I began, and that was my problem. Which is why it took me until this video by Frater that you just watched. That's why it took me until I saw this video for me to actually get into magic. Because my conscious mind kept getting in the way, saying, there's no way this shit's real, there's no way. But now I understand placebo effect. And that was always possible even before I got into magic. I knew that there was a placebo effect in that idea. Mind over matter. My dad used to talk about mind over matter all the time. And it was his excuse to not go to the hospital because he has a fear of doctors. But still, if you believe that that can happen, now if you believe the spirits are going to follow you home and you're scared of spirits, maybe don't do it. Because then your mind might create it. Now that I told you that, maybe I should have told you that. Point is, if you believe that these things will give you money, if you hear it from somebody you trust who says they did it and got the money, if you hear people, testimonials like I just told you, it worked for me. If you hear that, if you play this every day, and then it gets in your mind. If it doesn't work the first time, play the video, keep doing the ritual, and it'll eventually work. Everything will work. If you believe in what you're doing, it'll work. This is why I write on candles. I don't even put a sigil on them anymore. I straight up write my whole statement and intent on the candle, and I always use I am so grateful when it comes to money. And then when it's not money, then I can use I'm so thankful. I am giving this candle as offering and this incense as offering as compensation for the receiving of healing for my daughter's infection. I will the harm free someone to be 2 days later, no infection, and I know you didn't even have to get her antibiotics. That kind of shit. When it comes to money, gratitude. Best fucking way, best emotion you use for money is gratitude. Jupiter expands your money. Show them gratitude, you'll get it back. Anyways, but the reason why that little ritual I just told you which is one of those secret wealth, and he gives a fuckload of them, and some of them are top notch. I'm never gonna say another one again. I feel bad about saying that, but I bought the product, and he says it in the product that these things are somewhere else he learned, so it is as it is. But point is, if you believe this things can work, it can work, and straight up, and the simplest way I can state it, people say magic is the art of conforming your will to do what you want, is you know, and I expanded on that and said, well, magic is when people are deliberately putting their thought and adding action and adding emotion to manifest what they want, or use those same processes to banish stuff out of their life and reprogram their mind and all that. Because everybody is performing and creating the reality, but only some people believe you can do it on purpose, and that to me is what magic is. But right now, here's another definition of what this is, and the simplest version of it is using some type of form of symbolic or any, finding the right language to speak to the part of your mind to tell it what you want to happen. Because if you get in the subconscious mind, it'll work. Your conscious mind will block you. Your subconscious can sabotage you, but it won't. If you get it in your subconscious mind, it can sabotage you by you having other programming. Meaning you're trying to manifest money, yet you have programming that money is of the devil, and by default, you don't want to be the devil because you've been programmed also the devil is evil. So you have all these programmings is money is of the devil is evil, I can't be rich, and yet you're trying for money. So your subconscious mind will say, this defeats the purpose. I have an antivirus software that says what you're trying to put in me isn't programming. This is a virus, it's something I don't want in me, so it'll sabotage it. Bad things will happen or it won't happen at all. But the conscious mind blocks you. So you got to use your conscious mind to get it into your subconscious mind. That is why the ego and the conscious mind is important. This shit of getting rid of the identity and getting rid of your fucking conscious mind is horseshit. Understanding you're not your identity, that you are so much more than that and we are more than that, is important. But you can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. You can't. You have it for a reason. And you can say, well, my mom gave me my name, not God. Well, God is a figure in a book who doesn't exist, so fuck off. Point I'm trying to say is the identity is important, but it's one of those things. It's like negative entities or negative energy or the negative ions or, well, negativity. Negative ions are really important, actually, more important than positive ions. The positive ions may cause more damage. It may give you cancer and get you depressed and all that, but there is a time to have positive ions. You need them at sometimes. Negativity, fear. Fear is another good example. Fear is bad and people don't want to be in fear all the time, but fear can motivate you to get to where you got to get. And once you get there, then you can get rid of the fear emotion, at least for a while, until you need it again. Someone comes in with a gun and they're serious and going to kill you. If you don't give them your wallet, having no fear and running at them is just going to get you shot in the head. So you need to have the right fear to do what's necessary and give them the money. And then once they get preoccupied of seeing the money in your fucking purse or wallet, and then you get rid of the fear to elbow the fucker or kick the fucker, take the gun and take your money back. Then it's appropriate, but you need a certain amount of this shit. So I don't even know how I got to that. So stupid. I'm all fucking all over the place. But the point is, identity, conscious mind is important. You need it to protect your subconscious mind, so shit doesn't go into your subconscious mind that you don't want to happen, which is why you start the ceremonial magic neophyte from Kabbalah, the Great Work of Self-Transformation. You heard Frater say it on here already, and that he promotes that book and he goes about that book. Anyways, point is, what I was going to say was, what I try to do is simply find many different ways to kind of, so I can tell you guys what works and what doesn't work, at least for me anyways, but all the different ways that you can put in the suggestion or speak to the part of your mind that is creating your reality. Because if you have bad habits that you want to banish, well, you need to know how to do that. So all you need to find out is the best way to talk to the part of your mind that can banish that disease, that addiction, that weird growth, that problem with intimacy or the problem committing to a relationship. You want to be able to banish those things. But if you don't know how, and if you don't invoke something in that place, well, you'll banish it for a time, start a new relationship, and then all of a sudden, because you didn't replace that with a new habit, well, what is on the astral is still there. So you banished that out of your life, but you didn't replace it with something new. So on the astral, you have this fear of committing and maybe fear of intimacy up there. You banish those two things out of your life, but you didn't invoke something in its place like dedication and discipline, let's just say, and being dedicated to someone instead of having your fear of committing. Well, you didn't replace those two things with the two things you're trying to get rid of. So on the astral, you still have that. You got rid of here on the physical, and you can get rid of stuff here on the physical for a time. But if it's still on the astral, then whenever nature's like, whoa, okay, maybe it's the moon cycle that goes by, and it says, oh, we gotta mix, because they saw it is the moon and the subconscious mind, and that's why it's linked to the astral and all that. So the subconscious mind is a cycle. It's like, whoa, we have something missing here with this Corey LeBlanc. He didn't replace, got rid of two things, but he didn't put anything in there. So, well, what used to be there? Well, let's put that back there, because that's been there for the majority of his life, except for this last 28 days. So we'll put that back there, because clearly that's been working for him so far. You know, that's why you got to do this shit. And that's why it's the same process for the reverse. If you want to call something to your being, you got to give enough energy to create it on the astral. But if on the astral you have programming that blocks that from getting up there, well, it ain't going to go up there. You kind of understand? Anyways, I'm going to read what I wrote. So the video you just watched by Frater, I'm going to break it down to all the different questions he has. So the first question was the breakup, and you know, the guy goes to the 3 laws of the land. Not much to say about that, except I give that guy props for being able to make a letter like that and call in. I think it was an attempt, because his girlfriend watches Frater Xavier's videos, and I'm pretty sure Frater knew this too. But he sounds like this, you know, I love her and I really miss her. That was put in there because if she watches all his videos, she's going to watch it and see that and be like, oh my God, that's so sweet, and come back to me is what he was hoping for, right? So I'll just leave that one alone. But if you're trying to get a girl back, boys, and you know what she watches on YouTube, and they have a question and answer, it's not a bad thing to do, by the by. Anyways, the second one was ask for money, and he received, instead of getting new money, he got shared money, family money, and he found unused funds. And he was asking if that was normal because he was expecting new money. And I was like, greedy fuck? But no, don't think like that. That's the worst way to think. You should be like, you know, valid question. I wish my problems were like that. And go on. So I'm not even going to really get into that one because... but I will say this, especially if you're in the States, but here in Canada, we also have this process where there could be money. Look it up, Google it, how to find money that the state might be holding on for you. And once again, if you don't claim it, they keep it. So why the fuck would they tell you about it? And you can say, well, that's greedy, that's this, that's that. That's life. Here's the thing. If they call someone up and they say, hey, we got money here for you, just got to prove that you're this person, that person is going to drop whatever they're doing and find a way to identify as the person they just named. Okay, understand that. Even to the point where they might go to the person who's given the money and say, hey, I'll give you half if you just pretend I'm that person. And it's money. So it's just easier for them to keep it and have information out there for you to look this stuff up. So just do your research, look it up. You might have money in your name. You might have did a money candle before this, and on the path of least resistance telling you, hey, if you look this up, you might find that money. And you might be like that guy you were just thinking was a greedy prick. And then you're like, fuck, I won't think of him as a greedy prick. And then you heard this, and now you're going to find the money. So great, I'm happy for you. And I'm not sniffling because I'm doing dope again. Thunder Wizard was right. I'm fucking off the wagon. Fucking dickhead. His mind created it. No, that's not what happened. I only breathe through my nose. Obviously, when I'm talking, I breathe through my mouth. But it's only exhaling only. And that's why I always sniffle up. And it sounds like I'm a crackhead coke. Sorry, not crackhead. They smoke crack. They don't snort crack. They snort coke. But I have a little bit of a runny nose. It's cold here today. I got shorts on, but that's why I have the car on. It's heating. I think we're like at 4 degrees here in Canada. And you know, it's going to be at 0 and below 0 starting in November. And it's basically going to be, as of December, we're probably going to be -10. That's when we start putting on our summer tires, from -10 and lower all the way till probably the last week of March. So anybody who says it doesn't get cold enough for whatever, I know Thunder Wizard's newest video was talking about that shit. And I don't know. He said something about it has to be cold enough for a long period of time. And even though you got a few cold days, doesn't mean shit. Well, we get it -10, and we're at -10 to -10 from at least the beginning of December right through to sometimes the first couple of weeks of April, and we get snow in May sometimes. But steady -20 at least from the end of December to the end of February. That's like 3 months. So, you know, I'm not saying global warming is not a thing. It's one of those things that there's too much conflicting information, and that's the point. They want to polarize you in one direction or another. So I just choose to not fucking bother with it, because whether we're dying or killing the environment or not, I know my world is fine. I know Gaia is going to be okay. I know this planet's going to outlast me. we're only here for a lifetime, and every lifetime they've been worrying about killing the earth, yet we've had how many lifetimes here? So I'm going with the data of everybody says we're slowly killing the earth, we gotta do something, and everybody tries to do something, everybody's been doing a little something, so, you know, it's just gonna keep going, and people can keep saying doomsdays, and we're fucking it up, and it's too late, but, you know, we're still here, so, anyways. How many months in each grade was the next question after that. From the book that he promoted in the first question, the breakup guy wanted to know spiritual advice. He said, you really want to get spiritual? He says it's kind of what you do here, pick your pick. But then he promoted the guy he learned his stuff from, which is one of the reasons I really like Frederick Xavier. Instead of promoting himself, he still will promote, he promotes himself a lot in this too. He tells the one guy at the end to get this program. But above all, for someone who wants spiritual knowledge, he promotes the book. And like I said with Ralph Smart, the one time in there, someone saw my answer and said, hey, you got knowledge, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Would you want to help me out, or how can you help me? I'm really perplexed with manifestation. And I didn't promote myself. I promoted this book. I promoted Frederick Xavier. I promoted Ralph because it was on his channel out of respect as well. I mean, how can I not? And I like Ralph. And then I said, after all that, if you still have questions, you can reach me anytime and you can check out my videos. So, how many in each grade? And if you're not doing the neophyte, well, you should be. And if you haven't got this book yet, well, you should have. So that's as much as I'm going to go on that. I'm not going to bother discussing how much time in each grade. I've already went over that. And my point is not to go over Frederick Xavier's videos like I need to, because these things are self-explanatory and he does a hell of a job. But I get ideas from these questions, and I want to go over that. So, anyways, the lottery win spell. The person said, I did a spell in my head and I got a lottery win. But then her aunt and uncle did a financial betrayal. But then the aunt and uncle, after betraying the person, they suffered a loss greater than the one that the aunt and uncle cost the person who got the lottery win. So aunt and uncle are jealous because this person won the lottery with their mom and dad. Okay, and they fucking fucked them over, saying, well, she just won the lottery, so, you know, we don't have to pay you this time. And then aunt and uncle suffer a double loss, because don't judge. Who are you? Just because you have an obligation and someone wins the lottery, you think you don't have to pay them? No, you're just jealous and butthurt that you didn't win the lottery. And the reason you didn't win the lottery is because you didn't deserve to win it yet, as far as I'm concerned. But then he gets into something super important about your set money point. It's a huge concept, and I have the secrets of wealth, and I did what he talks about in this shit. So I'm actually going to replay this part right now so you guys can hear it, so you know exactly what I'm talking about, and then I'll keep going. But super, uber important, this money set point. Because you can do, if you ever your program and you get money, that's great. You're going to get money spell to money spell, and it's going to work. But let's say you do the 10 grand like I did. Well, the first time I got 10 grand, that shit was cut in half. Bam! I only had 5 grand of extra money. Second time, same thing. It was a little bit more, but it was like 6 grand. But very close to 5 grand. It's like, holy fuck. And then after the magic thing, the next times, I can't tell you exactly, but we kept more of it each time. It kind of expanded because, I don't know. But I've moved my money set point now, and me and my wife get money all the time, and we've never gotten big lump sums, like more than 10 grand, but we keep it all now. So like we'll have things throughout the month that'll add up to about 15 grand. And I mean, yeah, we paid on bills and shit like that because we believe in getting ahead. But the thing is, we're not having these automatic expenses like the one time, because the roof had to be done. And then the fire happened and we had to do all this electrical work. And then we had to get the insurance redone, so we had to do eavesdrops and shit on the house. You know what I mean? Things that pop up. We're choosing to spend it on our bills versus being forced to lose that money. But anyways, I want to play this part for you, and I'll play another part as well after this for the longer question. But I think this is important for everybody trying to do financial magic. So listen to this, and yeah, I'll be back in a second.
To your channel and dabbling in some of the things you have talked about, some interesting things have happened, including a lottery win on my birthday. Nice. I did the money spell in my head, forgot about it, and went on with life. I won a lottery that my parents and I split a ticket on. I was so happy that they were a part of it with me. It felt right. Congratulations. About a week ago, my aunt and uncle did something to me that was a financial betrayal. I let it go. I didn't get mad, only a bit sad. However, I learned yesterday that they suffered a financial loss that was at least twice as much as they caused me. I'm not laughing. I feel responsible somehow, even though I did nothing. I'm hoping it's just karma, and that's the end of it. I guess you can say it was karma. I mean, everything does return to source. So the financial harm that they caused upon you was revisited upon them, only twice as much. The interesting part about this for me is that it happened after your lottery win. I'm not sure exactly how long after your lottery win that this happened, but it reminds me that everyone has a financial set point in their subconscious mind. Now, if you earn more or get a sudden windfall above that set point, the subconscious mind will create ways to bring it back down to your actual set point. In other words, they'll find ways for you to lose money. And if it's below the set point, if you've lost some money, it'll find ways to bring it back up. And this is why people usually stay about the same income level for most of their lives. We could go on further to call this set point their financial comfort level. Now, in the Secrets of Wealth program, I show how to raise your set point so that you earn more money and have more money coming in, so that your subconscious will find ways to bring money to you. This subconscious financial set point is going to be one of the key factors in determining how much money that you make. It's why people will do money spells, and they'll get the money, but it still won't improve their overall yearly or long-term income. They haven't moved their set point, so they're stuck with just doing little money spell after money spell after money spell for short-term or small gains instead of long-term and big lasting gains. It's something that I teach in the Secrets of Wealth program, and it's something that everyone should learn if they want to improve their financial situation. But this person goes on to say that she believes her 17-year-old daughter.
Alright, so in a moment I'm going to play the other half of that shit. But I'm glad you got to hear what I just wanted you to hear. So lottery money spell and head, uncle, but oh yeah, so the set point. So before I heard this video, like I said, after I heard this video, this changed me, and I'm going to get into exactly why, and it changed me from being armchair to going, because I was listening to this, I was reading the book, listening to that, but I didn't really start the magic and all that shit yet, and I'll get on all that after. But once I started going and I heard this video again after I started magic, I still couldn't buy his program. Like I said, even for Thunder Wizard, I wanted to get a reading from Thunder Wizard done, but it's like $400 for a fucking reading from him. And like, I can do my own work, but I'm not an astrologer, and I really wanted to see, what he could do. But that's a lot of money for one astrology reading. So, but I get it. If the people that are his apprentices under him aren't just people he's pretending to be and charging less to get, anyways. But he's trying to get people to get his apprentices to work. So he charges his for $400, but you can get it from somebody who learned from me, so same deal, and it's cheaper. So I get all that, and that's actually a very nice thing to do for somebody who taught. So I like that and respect that. But the concept is for me is that like I said, 7 years clean. So wife controls finances. In case I ever want to fuck up, I can't unless I steal a card from her or something like that. And just the fact of stealing from my wife bugs me. Having to go through a purse and grab a fucking card that's too much. I can't cross that line. I have in the past, but I don't anymore. I got more discipline than that after doing so many candles fight. And the same thing. So I didn't know how to change my set point. I had no idea what his technique would be. But just like I'm talking about how to do love spells and shit like that, I've never done a love spell, but I know how to get suggestions into my subconscious mind. I have proof of that. It happens all the time for me. I can easily write stuff on a candle and get it done. I can speak things in, but I can use banish, reject, deny to reject specific thoughts or a thought I don't even have. I'll just take the statement, say it out loud that I reject that from happening in my reality and accept the opposite. So I did that. That's how I changed my set point before I got his program. And then once I started making money, because my financial set point was changed, because I started manifesting, because I watched all these videos telling me, I reprogrammed my mind through YouTube videos. I think first and foremost, the YouTube videos taught me how to do sigil magic. They taught me how to do ritual magic. So did the book. So all these things taught me how to do the ritual magic that will reprogram my mind. At the same time as I'm doing these things, I'm watching videos that tell me this is how you do it. I'm watching it every day in and day out, over and over again. So my actions are being supported by the thoughts I'm having and the visualizations I'm putting in my head via the YouTube videos. And it's just a repeating cycle. And now I'm at the point that it doesn't matter. Whatever I write on a candle happens. I make sure I use astrology where the planets are and my understanding of the planets. So like I want to do some type of emotional work, I'm going to work with the moon and or Jupiter, or sometimes I use, you know, Apollo, which corresponds to the new moon, versus Diana is, these are the Roman names, but it would be what, Artemis, or Artemis, I can't say that name, but it was the Greek version of Diana, you know what I mean? I use, like I said before, if I use Saturn, I'm putting Saturn on there. I'm putting Anshar, the Mesopotamian name. I'm putting Satan, the fucking Catholic, Roman Catholic name. I'm going to put Kronos on there, the Greek name. And I consider Saturn... anyways, I won't tell you the Norse name I use just in case. But point is, I put all the deities that refer to the planet I'm using. So I'm going to hit the deities, I'm going to hit the planetary energy, I'm going to hit all the same ones that correspond with the same one. Point is, though, to that point, no different. I said, okay, well, I get symbolic representations in my mind. I watched this video enough. I watched it over and over again up until I did the spells. And then while I was doing the spell, because there was a certain point in my life where I was doing a spell, like I said, programming my mind. So if I was getting rid of programming and then putting new programming during the banishing part of the moon, I was banishing the old programming, writing the same thing on the candle for the first 14 days. And the special way I do it, not the way people just think, from the full moon to zero moon is when you banish stuff out of your life, and then from the new moon to the full moon is when you invoke stuff in your life. And I say no. I use when the moon is darkest, so the 7 days before the new moon and the 7 days after the new moon is when it's time to banish, because your moon is your energy meter. So that when you have more dark of a moon, even if it's the day before, it's half and half full and half not full, okay? On that day, you can do equal magic. On that, I had a whole video about this. On the day that the moon is half and half on both sides is when you can banish and invoke at the same time, evenly, because your power is at 50% for banishing, 50% for invoking, because that is your subconscious mind. So whenever you go through the moon, so if you're trying to banish stuff when the moon is full, you can do it. You got to word it properly. But if you're not worried about that and all that, then don't. Then just banish when the moon is zero, with more dark, and invoke when the moon is more light, because that's your power meter. Let's say this thing is a video game, it's the Matrix, whatever, all that bullshit. Well, that's your power meter. So when the moon is mostly dark, you use black magic, which isn't evil. It's just banishing things out of your life. And when the moon is full, more light, then you bring things into your life. So my 14-day cycle is the 7 days before the new moon and the 7 days after the new moon. And the 7 days before the full moon is when I start invoking, and the 7 days after full moon. Because to me, it makes the most sense, and that's when there's the most light there. Yes, when the moon hits full and it's slowly starting to lose its life, but just because you just turned 50 and you're now 51 doesn't mean you're starting to die, for God's sakes. You still have more life. You have more life at 51 than you are at 91. But at 91, you're closer to death than you are at 51, right? So, point is, that's kind of my point, right? And I guess from zero, you're growing. From 0 to 50, you're growing. But when you're a baby, when you're first a baby, you don't have your conscious faculties. So you're closer to that dead spot than anything, and you're more fragile. Babies and older people are more fragile, are they not? So that's what I kind of mean. That's like your banishing time when you're more fragile. You want to banish all the stuff out of your life. When you're 90, you want to get rid of as much disease as you can. And when you're a baby, you want to get as much disease as you can. But then after you're a baby to, you know, a certain time, well, you want to invoke as much as you can because you have the immune system. Anyways, I think you got what I'm saying. But so I used all these concepts that I understood, and I made sure that my subconscious mind knew what I was talking about by set point. So every video Frater Xavier has talking about a set point, and any other information I can get about a magical set point, I listened to at the same time as I was doing my spell. So when I roll on the candle of that, I am banishing my set point. And I can, I banished my set point. And I forget what I invoked. This is a long time ago, but I can check my notes. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about too, is people may think they're not manifesting stuff and might keep getting down on themselves. But if they don't write things down, because one night you might be half asleep and you might say, oh, fuck it, I'll try this little visualization thing. And you might do something. And a few days down the street, some synchronicities will happen, a weird coincidence, and you'll get something. And like, huh, that's cool. fuck, I wish it would have been something I asked for. And it's like, fuck, if you would have wrote it down, you would have known you did ask for that. And you would have the proof, and then you can work off of that proof, keep getting more proof. So, but yeah, I'll check what I invoked instead of there. But I'm pretty sure it was something to the effect that I can have an infinite amount of money coming to me without any outside, I'm going off the top of my head here, but that's normally how I do this anyways. Any outside circumstances taking from, removing from, or taking from my gross, I don't know, something to that effect. But anyways, point is, I did my own little spell thing and it worked. But because of it, this is information I still got from Frater, and you know, I've been paying him attention and energy this whole time through his channel, but I felt the need, because since I feel like he helped me the most out of all my gurus, even the book, but I wouldn't have got that book if it wasn't for him as well. But so I bought 5 fucking programs off him now, and except for the specific spell things, like I told you, the way he teaches these things, it's exactly how I learned it from him. I didn't have enough confidence and magical know-how, let's say, to actually put it together in like a ritual. But as I kept developing and kept listening, and I said, fuck it, I'll just write on this candle and see what happens. And then eventually the things worked. And I'm telling you right now, you can use YouTube videos as affirmations to program your mind. And affirmation is probably the wrong word, but you're watching something over and over again that's telling you something that is now going to be real in your head. Just like I said earlier, your dad telling you that you can be whatever you want to be, or you're going to be a piece of shit, you're never going to amount to anything. Whichever one your dad or mom chose to tell you, if they told you can be anything, then you're probably doing well in life. If they told you you're not going to amount to anything, then you're probably not doing well in life. And if it was 50-50, or maybe they never really said stuff to you like that, well, then maybe you're kind of in between. You feel like you can do anything, but the same sense, you feel like you're kind of stuck. Well, that's why. Anyways, now I'm going to play another part about drugs. And the reason why this part's important is because of my question to Thunder Wizard that day about using positive affirmations in coordination with, and I didn't say doing a magical ritual or doing any kind of magical stuff, but being that a positive affirmation is technically, quote unquote, a new age magical thing, I assumed he would have thought it was going along with it. My name is Ceremonial Witchcraft after all, for ceremonial magic and witchcraft, so that just kind of implies that I'm into magic. So if I say, if I'm doing, and I mean, this is just me, I think I would put this together and use my, you know, what does he say all the time? Anyways, just using intelligence and fucking, you know, common sense. Someone named Ceremonial Witchcraft says, I use positive affirmations in, like, positive self-talk in accordance with the action I'm taking with my will. I would assume that he meant doing something ritual, but he just flipped the script on me. But anyways, that's why this next clip, you already heard it, but I'm going to play it again, just a small part, just so you hear exactly what I'm trying to get at, and then we'll keep it loud.
Money spell after money spell after money spell for short-term or small gains instead of long-term and big lasting gains. It's something that I teach in the Secrets of Wealth program, and it's something that everyone should learn if they want to improve their financial situation. But this person goes on to say that she believes her 17-year-old daughter is doing drugs. She denies it. She don't believe her because she's seeing her change before her eyes. But she doesn't know what to do. She's afraid to do magic, and she's afraid for her daughter. And is asking for my advice, which my advice is going to be do magic, even though you are afraid to do so. I also understand that you're afraid for your daughter. There's a lot of bad drugs going around out there. One of my nephews just died about a month and a half ago when I had pneumonia of a heroin overdose. He lived over half a state away, and I had no idea he was having problems. A lot of kids aren't making exactly the brightest decisions these days. But understand also that being afraid and fear isn't going to help anything. Because what you think about, you bring about. So if you're always thinking about your daughter being on drugs, and then you throw an emotional component of fear on top of it, afraid that she's doing this, it can actually help to bring about what you fear. This is what I talk about when I say that people are doing magic whether they know it or not, but that most people are doing magic against their own interests, and they don't even know it. Dwell not on that which you fear, but on that which you desire. Now, when it comes to drug addiction or any addiction in general, really, in my experience, the person has to want to quit. But there are ways to get a person to not want it anymore. All addictions are ruled in the subconscious mind, so you have to address it there. Yes, some things are physically addicting as well, but the subconscious habit is much harder to break and get control of, so you have to address it in the subconscious, whether it be through hypnosis, sigils, etc. I recommend doing some sigil magic and also creating some sigils for losing the desire to do drugs and hiding them in plain sight around the house so that your daughter can pass by them and see it without really seeing it, so that it gets into the subconscious and starts programming that way, so that you can start programming a drug-free household. Best wishes and
Alright, so now that that's over, I can finish this up. No, sorry, the male girl's right beside me. And yeah, she's not a bad looking girl. I mean, I'm happily married, so I wouldn't fuck the male girl or anything like that. Especially after what happened to me. I mean, I never cheated on my wife. Like I said, I'm guilty of flirting with another girl and all that, which she's also guilty of now. And potentially, depending on what your opinion of cheating is, you know, you can say, well, she was talking with this guy and wanted to meet up with him, but the only 2 times she had a date with him was a play date, not really a date. And, you know, I believe her that they met up by accident both those times. So it is as it is, but it's still, I mean, she's a good-looking girl. But, I mean, no, that's the rest of my fucking relationship. And she's definitely not even close to my wife's got. Anyways, so drugs and how to banish the need and something is some. Okay, so how to banish need and something very important to my question to. I don't know what I meant by that, so it's not really comprehended, but or comprehensive, but very important to my question to T-Wiz. That was just short form. It wasn't to make fun of him, but you know, T-Pain, right? If you wanted to be like a rapper, he calls himself an OG, original goth. No, he probably means an original gangster. You know, he's probably not using OG, right? Because that's the thing about OGs. They're old and I don't understand the young lingo. Even I have trouble with young lingo. But when Uncle Birch uses the OG, he's an OG. He's talking about I'm an original gothic, not an original gangster. But he's using it as an original guru. Maybe. So maybe he's making sense of it. So my bad. Then the original guru, but he's definitely not original. So, but he's the OG T-Wiz, bud. T-Wiz. I keep giving this motherfucker. Last time when I was mad at him, it was Thunder Wizard, Lightning Lizard, because he was pretending to be a lizard. But I thought that was a cool name. I mean, one thing I'm good at is like little catchy things. Yo, what up? It's Maha David, OG Thunder Wizard, Lightning Lizard, aka T-Wiz in the hizzy. You know what I mean? I'd be like, whoa, this fucking Cracker Jack is fucking kidding himself, I guess. Anyways, I'll stop making fun of him. I have some resentment, I can tell. I'm trying my hardest to say I like the guy because I do. I'm attracted to his channel. I watch it. Pisses me off when he doesn't agree with me, I guess, but it is as it is. I mean, like I said, I know on some levels that he was right, but I also know on some levels he's fucking wrong. And that's the nature of reality. Nothing is completely right, nothing's completely wrong. Put us both together, our ideas together, and I mean, I'm not in his league, okay? He's been doing this a long time. He knows, he's got acquaintances, he's got people, he's learned from spiritual masters, whereas I've done all my learning through books and on YouTube. So, not on the same level at all. I know he's up here, I'm down here. I mean, his subscriber count will tell you that as well. He's killing it. I get it. But I'm just saying, you add some of the ideas I have to his action plans, and I mean... But anyways, no bueno. So, T-Wiz, and from, oh, God, and from, hanging positive messages around the house, like affirmations. Now, he didn't say positive messages in this one. This is an earlier one. The video I played last time from, Frater was the one about the McDonald's bag and him having a craving for McDonald's even though he can't stand McDonald's. Then he goes on to think about this when you're scrolling through the Facebook feed. And he's like, to this point where I won't even leave newspapers face up. Put them face down if there's bad headlines on it, because your subconscious mind picks it up. But then he says, go around the house putting positive sentences or positive sayings around your house, or have your significant other do it so you're not conscious of them. And then you walk by that every day and you'll be like, fuck, I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood. It's another form of doing positive affirmations. In my mind, there's no difference in hanging things up in my house. Positive words. And I got a bunch of them. I mean, you look over here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's porch rules right out there. Let's see if I can bring that in. Okay, well, that sign all the way to, I guess it'd be the right of your screen, but there's this fucking, right underneath my finger there, that white thing. That is, something says porch rules, anyways, I got things all over my house. My wife just bought a $69 sign, big as fuck, for our kitchen, with a bunch of positive words on it. I'm like, I'm so against that, because to me it's like a waste of money. But at the same time, I don't bother telling her waste of money or saying things, and then she throws it in my face. Like, I thought we weren't supposed to worry about money. I thought if we focus on wasting money and worrying about money, we're not going to get money. And she's absolutely right, because she learned it from me. And if I say she's wrong, then I'm saying I'm wrong, so I can't do that. But, you know, for a sign that she could paint herself with a fucking piece of wood, some paint, some trim border, I mean, those things right there would cost, let's say $20 if you get a big enough piece of fucking either plywood or whatever. And these little cans of paint you would use, and a fucking stencil and a paintbrush. So $20. She could have made it herself, put her own energy into it. Now I got to cleanse the fucking thing because it's coming. And I don't mean because of COVID, but I mean someone else's energy was put into it, and maybe they're pissed off when they made it. So I got to cleanse it before it comes into my house, because I don't let other people's energy in my house. And, you know, I'd rather something be made with her energy that she can be proud of. And even if she made a little mistake on there, she might be a little self-conscious about, but that little mistake means something, you know? But anyways, I have this concept all over my house. There's no difference between the positive messages around my house or me putting on a recorder of positive affirmations in my ear. Same fucking thing. If I go to sleep or throughout the day I'm listening to that while I'm doing things and dishes, it's going right into my subconscious mind. I walk around the house talking to my family, yelling at my kids. There's positive messages on the side. I'm not so mean to my kids when the positive messages are up. But when they're broke or they're down or before we had them, I'm a hell of a lot more mean. Point is, all these things get absorbed by your subconscious mind. You wake up all pissy, you come downstairs and you got like, have a nice day, smile a few times, and smile a day keeps the doctor away, or all these little fucking happy fucking shits around your house. You're gonna see it has an effect on you. It might not be the effect you want, because if you're trying to get rich by only doing 2 positive affirmations every night, it's not gonna work. But you put your positive affirmations all around your house. You sigilize those and put around your house. You also use a sigil in the way you're supposed to, jerk off or hurt yourself or whatever. You do sleep sigil magic like Birch says. You put a recorder on, and then you write the story, and then after 30 days you have the thing in your pocket, and you burn all those things together, all the symbolic representations you have. Except for maybe the sayings, but every like sigil and shit, you burn all those after you got them in your fucking subconscious mind after 30 days. And you will see, you put enough astral energy on that plane that as soon as you stop thinking about it with your conscious mind, because if your conscious mind's thinking about it, well then technically you saw a representation of it here. And when your conscious mind's thinking about it, the subconscious can't bring it into reality. Like I said, if you focus on breathing, the subconscious doesn't have to do it. And it can focus on healing your body, because it's got one less job to do. But the minute you are focused on something, if you want something to come in and you're thinking about it with your conscious mind, well, your subconscious mind doesn't have to think about it. It's not going to work on it. But if you stop thinking about it, it's like, oh, fuck, I got to work on this now. But you're using it to your benefit because you want it to work on that. Except for whenever it's healing, if you breathe and start doing breathing techniques consciously, well, why does it heal your body? Well, it's not your conscious mind or your breathing healing your body. It's the subconscious has one less job to do, so it's healing you for it. I mean, these things are, to me, so self-explanatory. But like I said, I did a lot of study onto this, and I probably am addicted to information, and I have to force myself to use the things I learned, so I'm not an armchair occultist. I really do. I really do get stuck in my intellect. And it's probably because my Mercury is in Pisces. So my Mercury, my intellect, my conscious, whatever you want to call Mercury, is in the sign that's in between the worlds. It's in Pisces, which my Jupiter is also, well, my Jupiter's in a 12th house, and depending if it's Vedic or the traditional way, Jupiter is either in Vedic, it's in Pisces, and with Mercury, but Jupiter has the lowest and Mercury has the highest degree because it's closer to my ascendant. I believe that's how it works. I have to look at it again. And I think in tropical, it's in 11th house. It's in Aquarius, but in tropical, it's in Aquarius, but it's still in my 12th house. Versus Vedic, it's in the 12th house and it's in Pisces, my Jupiter and Mercury. My Mercury either way is in Pisces for me, so my intellect is lost somewhere in between the worlds. But I can get information between those worlds, and because my Gemini, I have my moon in, my subconscious is in my Gemini, between the minds, and that's what I love to do, which is why I love to talk, and I can talk for days. Well, I get these messages from between the worlds and all that shit. And I got Pluto in my Scorpio, which is my descendant line, which is also a representation of your subconscious mind. So there you go. I got all these water signs. My conscious mind's in a water sign. My subconscious mind's in a water sign. My moon's in Gemini, which is an air sign. So I'm an airhead. I'm a little airy fairy, but I have my moon in there. So I have a water and my air. So you know what I mean? It's like subconscious mind in there. I got my conscious mind in water. I got my water, subconscious mind in an air sign. I'm like polarities all over the place, bud. Conscious mind, is positive, but it's in water sign. And then my negative moon, subconscious mind, is in an air sign, positive. And then over there, my descendant is another representation, because your conscious mind is your ascendant, right? Your ascendant, where your sun sign is, well, also part of your conscious mind, but your ascendant is what you identify with. Well, Taurus, if it's tropical, or Aries, if it's Vedic, for me. And it's very close to the Taurus line, though, either way. And it's in Scorpio and tropical, and I think it might be Libra if it's Vedic, because the 1 and 7 or the 2 and anyways, I think I got that wrong, but you get where I'm going with this. Anyways, just keep going, Corey. Stop getting off topic. Drugs are how to banish. Okay, no, I said that already. T-Wiz. And from hanging positive messages around the house like affirmations, exact words, to sigils, to reprogram your mind. And what you think about, you bring about. He said that. I love that he says that. And which, when he was all into COVID, that was my biggest complaint. Was he's my guru, one of my biggest ones I learned from. What you think about, you bring about. And he was thinking about COVID, worried about COVID. So my beef wasn't necessarily that these people were believing in COVID when I was on the fence. I was doing so much research for and against that I can't make up my mind about COVID either. Now, what I do know about COVID is it is a real virus. It is a real thing. But it's something we do not have to worry about. You do if you have a weak immune system. If you're in contact with people with weak immune systems, you definitely have to. But we're taking it overboard by everybody having to wear a mask and everybody having to wash hands and people losing their jobs and having to take off work. It's overkill. It's overkill. Because I know from when I was a kid to now, we've always had these precautions. If someone was sick in the hospital with pneumonia or cancer or anything like that, you weren't allowed to go see them if you had a cold. And if it was a loved one and you had to say goodbye, you put a mask on or whatever the case was, or if they were trying to heal and they really want to see you, you had to cover up, put a mask on and gloves to keep your germs away from them. Well, now everybody is keeping their germs away from everybody, but they're making themselves sick in the process. And most healthy people can beat this virus if they come in contact with it. But we're not coming in contact with anything. So all the weak people are hiding and they have a weak immune system, but all the healthy people are also making themselves weaker. So eventually we're all going to be weak and all going to have to stay indoors because we're making ourselves weaker with these masks. That's the issue I have. We're not taking the steps appropriate to make us stronger for this thing. We're taking the steps that are going to make us fucking weaker for this thing. And I'm pretty sure us Canadians in cold weather have all already had COVID. But anyways, and the ones who haven't are now getting it. And eventually there's going to be no more new cases because we're all going to have had it. I mean, unless they're fucking that. Because, yeah, you can get the common cold every year. We do. And it's part of the common cold, this COVID-19. Fucking farmers. Go talk to some farmers. They've been fucking vaccinating for their animals for this shit. For the oldest ones I've talked to, 2 in the flesh now, was for like 20 years. And it's because they were fairly new farmers. They took their business off their dad, and their dad recently died. But they know at least 20 years that they've been vaccinating their fucking animals from the common fucking cold. Because if they're sick, they don't produce as much and blah, 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 blah. So they have a fucking vaccine for the animals, and we don't have one yet. I mean, it's all too fishy, some of this shit. It's all too fishy. So to just say it's real and we should all be taking precaution is foolhardy. It's stupid. But in the same sense, to say it's all fucking fake is also stupid. It's somewhere in the fucking middle. And they're not going to release what they want us to know. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom or conspiratorial. It's just simple fact now. We don't know what happened in the World Trade Centers. We can't even prove if they went to the fucking moon. Anyways, I'm not going to get into all that shit. But let's keep going here. Fear and goes to say this is magic, people. Oh, yeah, so he basically talks about how, well, you just heard it, that this is what people are doing magic, whether they know it or not, are doing without knowing it. Addictions are ruled in the subconscious mind. Sigils around the house, sigils to remove the want to do the dope, which is super huge, which is what I was trying to, I never got into all that, but that's what I did. So when I wanted to stop, I did. I mean, I was already stopping, and I was already on a program that I was in through being on Suboxone and weaning off of Suboxone and all that shit. But at the same time, magic was the one thing that I could do and not think about doing drugs. And then I used magic to not do drugs, to get rid of the need to want to get high. Now, when things happen, like when all this shit happened to my wife, like I tried to explain to Thunder Wizard, I was having a hard time finding a reason to not go. Because I felt like hurting my wife by, you hurt me, so I'm going to go out there and hurt you, which is what it boils down to. And I know that. Just because you know that doesn't mean you're not going to act irrationally. Just because you know you shouldn't get high, or you think you're strong, or you know you're not strong, doesn't mean you're not going to get temptation. And like I said, I didn't finish 12 steps, but anyways, I'm going to let all that go. I think that speaks for itself to, you know, the extent of what Thunder Wizard kind of knows about. And he's teaching shamanism. He's not teaching magic per se, but he's telling people they can change their life and they'll be able to manifest what they want. And it's like, well, this is how I know how to manifest. And maybe the way he does is also going to teach you how to manifest. Maybe it's for the people out there who would sit down and only try to use their mind, and because they don't take any action, then they need someone like him to whip them into shape. Maybe they need someone like him to make them take action, because they're the type of people that wouldn't do any action, and they probably wouldn't even do the ritual magic part. So, you know, agree to disagree once again. So now we're getting to this new one, the next one, the last one, the most longest one in this question, which was the guy who's in victim mode, blaming the Illuminati and all that. He started off by the sigil of the ball and all that. So laws of magic, he's the purchaser of the laws of magic, and he is mad at the orange ball that manifested, but he can't manifest money. And in my opinion, and this is going to be important, this is super, uber important. And I put this together today. So, but it doesn't mean it's not true, and it doesn't mean it's just this is, when Birch talks about taking back your mind, or protecting your mind, control your mind or someone else will, all that shit. So this is what I'm talking about here. But it's more real than that. It's more than just like, okay, start doing magic and you're going to take control of your mind and no one else can use your mind against you. And that's why you don't watch TV, so it doesn't get used against you. But here's the thing. I think when you start the neophyte grade and you start depolarizing yourself, you break that connection. And I mean, obviously, if you're going to start sitting in front of the TV every day for hours a day, you're going to reconnect that. So just because you break this connection doesn't mean it can't get reconnected. But I watch TV with my wife, and it's like a half an hour to an hour every maybe 3 days, and sometimes it's only like once a week, and nothing will play out through my life. But my wife, like I said, she was watching Chicago Fire religiously, and then I had to rush home because there was a fire in the house. She was watching Chicago Fire, and she didn't even know it was our fire alarm going off. And she's watching TV, she's programming her mind. She learned a lot. The thing, these things are embedded in her subconscious mind, because I asked her, hey, babe, what does blue flame mean? What does no flame mean? She'll tell you, and she learned it all from that show. And it's all right, by the way. But so this guy was mad because he saw the Freighter Xavier fucking sigil, looked at it for like a minute, and then it fucking programmed in his mind. I watched Freighter Xavier. I saw the sigil. I didn't even write it down, and it got programmed into my subconscious mind. It got in there, and it manifested into my life. And this is kind of the thing I gathered way back then, but I didn't put it together like I put it together today. But what I put together is, back then, my connection to TV, just to computer screens, to my cell phone screen, to YouTube, was able to program my mind. It was very strong. Now, I still use YouTube to program my mind through these videos to keep reinforcing that magic is real. But I look at a sigil that someone else makes, it doesn't play out in my life because I change that specific shit. But what I'm trying to say here is, when you start the curriculum, when you start it and you stop watching TV, the reason you're doing it is because you're disconnecting that connection you have to the TV and being able to manifest someone else's desire through your life. The news, the media, Facebook, all these things, the 4-second fucking videos on fucking YouTube that say nothing, the car radio in the car. When you disconnect from all these things, you stop watching them, you are now being able to stop manifesting someone else's shit in your life. And your mind's like, well, what's going on? So it keeps going off your programming and keeps manifesting stuff through the things that have been programmed into you. But you are now opening the doors up for you to be able to, if you can concentrate. And because at first you can't do like I do every night and make a candle for a different thing to manifest. I do that. I don't do the same thing every night. I invoke and banish almost with every candle now, regardless of the moon. And that's because of what Birch taught me, to take the reins, not the ride. So for the first couple years, your year in a day, or your curriculum through Kabbalah, the Great Work of Self-Transformation, whatever it is, you're getting in sync with nature. That's why we do the adorations of the suns. That's why we have the 8 Sabbats of the year. We're getting in sync with nature because we want to affect nature. We are fucking nature, but the more you watch a TV and stay out of nature, you're more machine than nature now. And you're not in tune with nature, which is why Thunder Wizards exercises get you in tune. You meditate. You're becoming in tune with nature in a different way that probably works just as good as my way. So once again, plug for him. He's probably going to teach you the right way. I'm just saying. But we get in touch with nature so we can affect nature. But sometimes when you get in touch with nature, you're going to be horny in the spring like the animals, and you're going to want to be fruitful and make babies. And come summer, you're going to want to party and have fun and be a star and go out and do social things. Come the fall, you're going to start getting lazy and put on a little bit of weight for the fucking winter. And then come winter, you're going to want to hibernate, and you're going to keep going. And when the moon waxes and wanes, you're going to see you might have more energy and less energy. You might be more positive, you might be more negative. So you eventually have to learn how to become able to affect nature without becoming affected by nature to the degree that it's fucking up your life. Because it's one thing to become depolarized and become in sync with nature, but it's another thing when nature also starts dictating what you're going to do. You don't want that either, and that's a whole other video I'm not going to get into. But so when you get away from that TV and all that, you break this connection that you have and you're manifesting people's lives. And I think that was part of this COVID shit. It was a way to get people back in front of the TV, people back into money, giving out all these money things. So to stop, because before this, cryptocurrency was taking a big fucking uphill. The stocks, everything was up. And like I said, no one was watching TV. Everybody was believing that the news was fake. All this shit. To the point where Fox News is talking about the fake news, and they're fake news. You know what I mean? But everybody didn't believe in the news anymore. Now everybody's back to believing the news because of this pandemic. So I don't think COVID's fake, but I think they use COVID, which is something brought on by nature, absolutely. And that's why if you're in touch with nature, you don't have to fucking worry. If you are in sync with nature, you don't have to fucking worry. But they use these things to spin their own narrative. Let them think we created it. Let them think we're that powerful and scary, and then we'll always be above them. No fucking way to that. Anyways, I'll play the thing right now because all I'm going to do is keep going back to COVID, and this is already a long enough video, so I'll play the thing, and it's just a small clip of where he's talking about this guy and exactly what he says about all this fucking bad fucking way of thinking and being a victim and all that, and then I'll say my last piece, and then I'll let you guys be, okay?
Like an hour trying to force it into your in my front yard. And even made sigils for it in the past, I have not been able. A reminder for me of how poorly my own magic works when it comes to manifesting. I didn't make the sigil. I simply viewed it for a minute, then took it in, and it obviously must have influenced my subconscious. It angered me at first about the fact that even though I have tried and even made sigils for it in the past, I have not been able to cover my basic financial needs for years now. But then I get a damn orange ball in my front yard with the sigil made by someone else. I know how you feel. And this is why I advise people to always start with things that they don't care about first. See, you didn't really care about that orange ball. You just glanced at it for less than a minute and probably let it go even quicker than that, allowing it to easily and effortlessly manifest. Now, contrast that to the times that you do sigil magic for the things that you do care about. Instead of just glancing at it for a minute, do you stare at it for like an hour trying to force it into your brain? There is a such thing as trying too hard when it comes to magic. When it comes to magic, the act of trying to force something into your mind is actually preventing it from getting into your subconscious mind. Holding things in the conscious mind will always block them from getting into the subconscious mind. So then you're thinking about it afterwards because you really want this to work, but you're not letting go, you're not allowing it to manifest. So the solution for you then is to treat the things that you really want like the things that you don't really care about. And that's why I say to start practicing with things that you don't really care about first, so you know what it's like. And I know that tends to fly in the face of a lot of what is taught in magic. And as I have said, that we should give it our all, but that's in ritual. When it comes to sigil magic, the most important thing is to be able to relax and just allow the subconscious mind to soak up the image, the sigil, the symbol, and then just go about our day, relax. The most important thing is to not think about it. And the best way to not think about it is to not care about it all that much. A lot of times people are blocking themselves when it comes to the results because they care too much, because they need something to work. We'll pull another George Costanza here. When all else fails, try the opposite. This viewer goes on to say, I know it's my problem in my subconscious, but I also know there's an abundance of scarcity consciousness in the world, and I have gotten caught up in it like so many other people. It's not a problem in your subconscious. Everyone's subconscious works the same way. If you successfully implant the instruction into your subconscious, the subconscious must carry it out. So the problem isn't in your subconscious, the problem is in your execution. The universe has no problem dishing up that orange ball for me. If that ball was a lot of money, the universe would find some way to mess with it, because the energies of resistance are not just personally about me. I don't think the society wants people like me to thrive. See, you have a defeatist attitude. That's another issue that you're having. I have had money here and there. I'm not homeless. Right now, I always get fed, but I never thrive economically. Look at all these statements that he's making. My bosses have mostly been selfish narcissists, actually. That's going to have to do with your astrological chart and what house they fall into. One of the reasons that I began working for myself instead of just a 9 to 5 is because bosses in my chart fall into my house of enemies. And so I would always have bosses seemingly out to get me. And from my perspective, for no reason. But, that's just how it is. It falls in that chart. The bosses are going to be a problem, and they're just not going to like you. He continues, I don't think like most of these selfish people. I just want to have enough money to enjoy life. The things that are valued in our society are often trashing the environment. The people who are valued are often blatantly terrible. So perhaps my magic should go into changing the society we live in. I would like to see the stock market crash. I think it would do the greater good in the long run until the money is taken out of the hands of the Illuminati and the elite. Oh shit. Illuminati alert.
Oh snap.
Our planet is screwed, and it's sad that most people want to pretend otherwise. Maybe when they are broke, they will wake up too. Sorry, this was so long and angry, but I'm being honest. I'm going to take that orange ball to the wealthy part of town and leave it in a fancy yard. Yes, you were being honest about it being long and angry, but that's about it. Your first half about the ball showing up in your yard was great, and we covered exactly why you are having the issues that you're having. But then your second half went into the biggest self-pity bullshit I've ever heard in my life. You say you don't think like all these other selfish people, but yet you want to crash the stock market so that people will lose money so that they somehow can think and feel as you do. That's pretty damn selfish. See, I always say that people always want others to feel and think as they do. Those who are miserable will always want to make others miserable, and those who are in a higher vibration and happy will always want others to be happy. People are just trying to express how they feel, and they want others to experience how they feel. And I'm sorry, if you aren't feeling all that well, if you are miserable, if you are not having the best time, if you are poor, and you want others to experience that, that is selfish. Well, how else are they going to see it from my way, you say? Well, perhaps you need to see it from their way instead. See, if you had the Secrets of Wealth program, you would know that I would say that the self-defeating attitude that you have is the absolute worst thing that you can do. Also, if you view others who have money as being selfish, greedy, part of the Illuminati, trashing the environment, as you say, because, all people who have money are out there just doing all these things. If you view those who have money as being somehow bad and evil, what do you think that's doing to your subconscious and affecting your income? These views that you have of money, of people with money, and the world are literally keeping you poor. Change your mind, change your life. And I should know because I used to think like that. See, people with money don't think like that. The wealthy certainly don't think like that. And so the second half of what you wrote is really revealing in the base of your problem. Again, I go over all of this in the Secrets of Wealth program, but if you somehow convince yourself that you can't afford that either, then you should take away one thing from this, and that is you need to change your outlook about money, about people with money, so that you're not setting your subconscious up to have an aversion and opposition to money. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Now, that doesn't mean that God is going to come and put you through a trial and punish you. It means that when you go around judging, you are actually passing sentence upon yourself. Let's see how many judgments you have made in just this second half alone. If that ball was a lot of money, the universe would find some way to mess with it. You've already judged that you cannot be successful with money because the universe will screw you over. It's a victim mentality. Woe is me. I have all the bad luck. And I go over all this in the Words of Power program on the self-imposing jinx. When you have a belief that when X happens, Y will happen also. In this case, if you got money, that something would screw it up. And so that's what happens and would continue to happen, because every time it happens, you say the same thing and reinforce it. This has a lot more to do with your attitude and the way you think and the way you speak than you realize. I don't think this society wants people like me to thrive. Again, victim mindset. But I never thrive economically. See, when you pass judgment like this, who is the universe to argue with you, as you are part of the universe? I don't think like most of these selfish people. Well, that is a judgment. The things that are valued in our society are often trashing the environment. This is an opinion from your perspective and a judgment. The people who are valued are often blatantly terrible. Again, passing judgment. Due to the law of polarity, for every bad there is a good, so what you see as terrible people, I'm going to assume are, the rich? Fact, the rich are the most charitable people. Fact, the rich create all the jobs for everyone else. Fact, the rich don't have nor entertain the victim mindset, which is the most destructive mindset. We can go on and on. I would like to see the stock market crash. I think it would do the greater good in the long run. For who? For you? What may be good for one may not be good for another, by the law of polarity. I don't believe that you're saying this for, quote, the greater good, end quote. You should be honest and just admit why you're saying this. Envy. It's like the old Aesop fable, The Fox and the Grapes. The fox saw some grapes hanging out of reach. He tried and tried to reach them, but he couldn't get to them. He finally gave up, turned and walked away, saying, I didn't even want them anyway. Except you're adding, you shouldn't have them either. Until the money is taken out of the hands of the Illuminati and the elite, our planet is screwed, and it's sad that most people want to pretend otherwise. The power just went out for like an hour and a half. I'm sure you do have a dark cloud thought form working overtime against you. Thankfully, autosave saved the day, and I didn't lose all of this recording. So we were at you saying that the money needs to be taken away from the Illuminati, and we're all screwed until that happens. Well, who should have the money? You? Because I can make the argument that we're far better off in their hands than yours, simply due to your mindset. If you can't raise yourself out of poverty, how can anyone else prosper if you are in charge? And then you say maybe when they are broke, they will wake up too. No, it's you who needs to wake up because they're not the ones who are broke, which means they're doing something right and you are not. I'm sure you have a million excuses, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to your attitude and mindset. We shouldn't be too concerned with you changing the world and crashing the stock market and causing mayhem in the streets if you can't change your own financial situation. Magically, money is the easiest magic there is, in my opinion. Health, love magic, etc. may have to take a few shots at it to get it going. Money magic, I can crank that out all day, every day. It's not even an issue. And so can you. Get the Secrets of Wealth program. Follow everything in there. Don't just do one thing and say, oh, it didn't work because I just tried one thing. No, you have to do these things together. You have to do the work, especially the section on proper mindset. You simply cannot attract wealth without it. Next, get the Words of Power program and learn how to stop creating negative thought forms.
Right, so for finally the fucking finale. Finally the finale, motherfuckers. Alright, so let me just keep reading here so I don't keep going off. But stop being a portal. Okay. The first and most important thing you need to do is take control of your own mind. And the more specifically, you stop being a portal or a source for others to manifest to you, such as TV, but can now manifest what you want, and myself and the universe both were able to manifest. What? Manifest what you want. And myself and this... Oh, myself and this viewer both were able to manifest Frater's sigil, Frater's desire, let's say, through YouTube. And this was why after this video I went into ceremonial magic. So I will no longer manifest for others, but for myself. Then Frater says to do sigils for important shit. Alright, then Frater says to do sigils for unimportant shit. Like I also say, because this gives you proof that magic works. Anyways, I think I say that. To get proof and evidence magic works. Be like a fucking scientist. Then he used the law of polarity and teaches the most important lesson for beginners. And I hope I don't get stuck on this, but this is something I've said in the past as well. And it's to treat the shit you want like you don't want it. Like attracts like in the astral. This is why there's some truth to the law of attraction, but it doesn't completely work unless you have the rest of the hermetic principles down. Because like attracts like in like the magical and the astral and all that. Like attracts like. But here in the physical, opposites attract. I think I say this actually, astral. But in this realm, opposites attract. Meaning, if you manifest poverty and you can't manifest money, well, it's because you know poverty is what's always been happening. It's always been this cycle. It's your default. And you have this internal thing knowing that it's more likely you're going to keep manifesting poverty than you're ever going to manifest money. And if you treat the money like it's automatically going to happen, well, then it will. If you have automatic faith using that Sephiroth of Jupiter, then it automatically will happen. It's just, it's a law. It has to. It will. But more importantly than that, you can use this opposite polarity technique to your benefit. and it will absolutely work. I don't want to get stuck on this, but it's a really important thing to actually look up and figure out for yourself, because me explaining it may confuse you, or may think, okay, opposites attract, but like attracts like. So when I'm at my temple, I have to use like attracts like. I have to be, and that's right. When you're doing your ritual, you have to feel the emotion. You're putting this energy to create this thing in the astral. So if you want to create this thing in the astral, if you're saying you have money, or you found your life partner, as the love spell shit, well, you have to feel as if how loving and how great it is when you found that life partner, and how complete your life feels now. You have to put all those emotions into it. So the like will attract like, because you're trying to attract a partner, so you have to act like you've already attracted that partner. That's what you do in your ritual space, in between the worlds, when you're trying to talk to your subconscious mind through symbolism. That's where the like attracts like. But then here on this physical, you got to get out of that state and not think about that anymore. Now, if you have thoughts of it, you say, I accept that that has happened, and I'm so grateful that I found my partner, and you put as much love and emotion into that, and then let it go again. Stop thinking about it, so it can happen to you, so that the opposites can attract, so that you can attract that opposite feeling that you're not feeling anymore, because you're not in that space. But if you go to the bar trying to find love, well, you're consciously thinking about what you did, you're holding on to that, and your subconscious can't work on it, so you won't. So the time you finally go to the bar and you're like, oh, I'm never going to find love. Bam, you'll find love. That's all I'll say about that. Treat this shit you want like you don't want it. If like attracts like in the astral, but it's real. Opposites attract, meaning if you manifest poverty, okay, I already said all that. It was similar to this guy. I was similar to this guy, and I'm referring to the Illuminati, thinking they were so bad and all this. It's one reason I started saying I am the Illuminati. I started wearing that fucking thing, and I do have pictures of me doing this shit. I ain't scared of that shit, bud. Illuminati are enlightened people that know what the fuck's up, and you can say that's not true. The greedy fuckers ruling the world. Well, I'll get into that in a second. And okay, so I started saying I'm Illuminati, and if the Illuminati are rich and powerful, right? Because they are. You can say they're evil and greedy and all that, but they're definitely rich and powerful. And you can say, yeah, they're rich and powerful and whatever else. Okay, well, and I want the ability to make my reality, right? I want to be able to control my reality. Well, that takes power. That takes smart intelligence. That takes adding the elements, having you know, being able to control your own energy, using your power to control your energy. So I want to be, that's my power. And I want to manifest money and become rich, right? So rich and power. Then instead of hating on the Illuminati, the people I want to be like, kind of like I said in the beginning with the Thunder Wizard, you know, hating on, when you project on somebody, that guy hitting on the chicks, and you start calling them fucking names or whatever the case is. Well, instead of doing that, I'm going to take on that. Instead of hating on all these guys that pick up girls and just calling them players and they're just using them, well, say you're a player. Say I am a fucking alpha male. I can do whatever I want. I can hit on girls. I'm awesome at it. Well, I'm saying I'm the fucking Illuminati. So not only is everything that in the past I watched that said the Illuminati were powerful and rich, they're the rich, the elite, the number one, the percenters. Well, I start saying I am that. I start getting that. I am. I start getting that, my subconscious mind to identify with that. Well, what happens? Well, all that energy I put into there, my own energy I put into that shit, well, I can become that. Not only that, everybody else who thinks the Illuminati are rich and powerful, well, they're thinking I'm rich and powerful now. And it totally played out in my life. I'm not powerful in the sense that I fucking can, you know, do a bunch of crazy shit and control whatever. But I mean, I've stopped the rain before. I've caused the rain before. I've caused lightning storms before. This morning I did a ritual before I started recording this, and the light was flickering off and on. It wasn't me doing that, but it was me getting through. I was focusing on the fire, seeing my tent happen in my big fire. And anyways, I think I'm just going to leave it at that because it's pretty long already, but I think I've made my points, and I think you guys get what I'm trying to get at here, and there's a whole lot in here to unpack. So I'm not telling you to watch it often just because I want you to watch my shit often. I'm telling you to watch it often so that all these points get into you. And you don't have to watch my video of it often. Watch Frater's video of it often and come up with your own discussion points like I did, and maybe make your own video about it, you know? Like I said earlier, we need more people out here busting the fake spirituality gurus. Thunder Wizard doing it in his way. That is busting the guys who are telling you are they're not promoting explicitly that you shouldn't take action, but the way they promote their stuff is making people think they can sit at home and become rich. And that is wrong. You do have to take action, but your action can be could be your ritual. And Frederick Xavier has a video about that. That's a whole reason he releases the orange ball sigil, is because you'll have the book saying you have to have complete faith, but then not everything is possible, and then everything is possible, they contradict themselves. And people will say anything's possible, but you have to do some action. You can't manifest anything if you're not going to leave the house. And he says that's bullshit. And he's like, I have done it, and here's the sigil I did it with. So he creates a sigil, uses only his mind. This sigil is to make an orange ball appear in his yard. And using only his mind, he never left the house, and the ball appeared in his yard. So anybody saying you need to take action, well, I'm here to tell you that doing the ritual, making the sigil, is the action you have to take. But you can use mostly your mind power, your creativity and visualization through ritual and making a sigil and all that, and not even leave your house to make things happen. Like I said, when I made the law of attraction stuff happen, I didn't know how to meditate yet. And I still was able to use my mind. Because here's the thing, a bunch of people out there are manifesting the things they see through the TV and the things that got put in them as kids when they were little kids. No one knew how to meditate yet then, and they're still so you don't have to be able to meditate to make this shit work. But it fucking helps. It helps you in ways you can't even understand yet because you're not doing it. But you can start this process, and eventually you'll figure it all out. You don't have to go by program after program and still not understand things. You can simply start by reading the book I said, doing the neophyte, doing little simple exercises, and this shit will just start pouring into you. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this shit. Hope if you're a Thunder Wizard fan, you don't take the T-Wiz and all the other shit I said too seriously, but it's all in fun, man. I don't think the guy, I think he's all right. And yeah, I hope you have a great fucking day. Thank you if you subscribed or you listen to me on something else or whatever. Obviously, this is going to be on the podcast. If you're seeing this on YouTube, well, the only thing I'll be added to this is potentially Earl Nightingale's video, and potentially the newest Eternally Aware's video, because he talks about the law and COVID-19 laws that are going to be coming out for us, and I think it's important for everybody to know that. So I've been adding his info to my shit every single time he has a new video, and it's not to steal views from him. That's why it only goes on the podcast and not my other videos, although it's made it on my YouTube videos too. But anyways, enjoy your fucking day, and thank you for enjoying the video, and whatever else, give me your attention. Awesome. Illuminati out, bitch.
There are a lot of people that talk about rights and are interested in rights, but they don't fully understand what they are bringing forth or what they are trying to explain. Many individuals, especially in Canada and the United States of America, will certainly say and express the fact that they have human rights. If pressed, they will say, yes, I have human rights. When asked to define what those rights mean to them, that is when it becomes clearly evident that the government has failed to educate us as individuals as it pertains to our fundamental rights and freedoms, our human rights. A natural right, a fundamental right. This is a right, or these are rights, that you are born with. The government did not give them to you. The government did not create them on paper and then allow you to exercise them. It is just fundamentally accepted and universally accepted that these rights exist and you are allowed to exercise them. Some call them fundamental.